Welcome, everybody, to the lab. I'm your host, Joshua Diaz. It is great to be here. Happy 4th of July to you. We have a wonderful panel of guests tonight, and I'm very excited to get the show underway. If you would please hit that like button on the way in, and I'll introduce you to our wonderful panel. Up in the top corner there with me, we have Bob Gilliam, and Bob is a former, I guess we would call you were a motor cop and then an undersheriff after that as well, correct? Well, nobody can hear you because I always forget to do this. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's all right. I was a little bit of everything, Josh.
Yeah.
You name it, I probably did it, whether it was good or not.
Well, it's good to have you, and happy 4th of July to you, and good to see you. And then we have, of course, we have John Lamb down right below me, homicide sergeant, and we author as well of many books, awaiting his newest book coming out here shortly. And it's good to see you, John. How are you?
I am doing wonderfully. We had a thunderstorm earlier this evening that backed the temperatures off. And now all my neighbors are shooting off fireworks. So it's a delight to be here, and it's always great to be on with you, Josh.
How do your dogs do during this?
You know what? My earlier dogs they didn't handle it well, but Andy, in fact, you can see Andy in his feet at the lower portion of the screen there. Andy is absolutely untroubled by fireworks.
That's good. That's a good thing.
So, yeah, he just kind of goes, yeah, whatever, Yeah.
So I had a lab who was petrified of them.
Oh yeah, I had a couple of our Goldens but like last night, where I live in the valley, there was a resort on Massanutten Mountain, and they shoot fireworks off the top of the mountain. And it sounds like the Battle of Stalingrad. And, particularly because that's about 5 miles away, and my bedroom windows face in that direction, and it was rattling the windows. And Andy lays on the bed with me and just like lifts his head and goes, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's all right. That's good. And, but so glad to have you here. Thank you. And then, of course, we have Chris McDonough of the interview room. Yeah. Great to see it. Great video yesterday, by the way. I really enjoyed your breakdown, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. And later on we'll take some calls. I'm sure some people have some questions that, we'll try our best to answer, but Chris, how are you? Happy 4th of July to you, and great to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Appreciate the invite. Happy birthday, America.
That's right.
And hello, lab rats. That'll be fun.
There they are. They're here. And so, how's Buddy do? What is he? Does he care about fireworks?
I have some baked cheese right here. And you'll notice I keep putting it down to the left side here. So the answer is no.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Oh,
because of the baked cheese.
Because of the cheese. That's right.
If there was no cheese, would he care?
Not really. Not him. He's just Buddy.
Yeah.
He hears.
Both of my dogs are snoring at the moment. They don't really care that much either. But I've had dogs who were just terrified of it. And I always really feel bad for them because obviously there's nothing you can do to explain. They're just terrified. Yeah. It's loud and obnoxious. Bob, do you have a dog?
Not currently. No, I haven't had a dog for a few years.
Okay.
Yeah, I did have an English cream for several years.
You're one of those when the dog passes away, you say, I'm never getting a dog again.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, I felt that way too after my lab passed away. I was just like, it's too hard. I don't want to go through it again. I hate it. And then like 3 weeks later, I end up with another dog. So
yeah, well, for me, I I'm gone a lot, and it just wouldn't be fair for a dog for me to. And a lot of the places I go, it's just not tenable to take a dog and keep a dog around. But I neglected to say this earlier. Happy Independence Day, everybody, and I hope everyone is enjoying this wonderful July 4th.
Yeah, I hope everybody still has their fingers, all fingers.
Mm-hmm.
That's always a bonus.
All 9 of them.
July the 4th.
And
we know because we used to go to those calls.
Oh God, I can't even
go pick it up. Medics will be here in a minute.
So you guys would get calls to, you would have to go
with all thumbs.
Firework accidents all the time, like it happened every year. Every year something crazy, happens.
Yep.
every year something crazy happens, like that makes national news. Like it was like when the football player blew off like half of his hand, and then it just every year just something.
Well, in Oceanside, Josh, it was big riots. So it wasn't so much, although there was a story in Beach Blanket Bedlam of because ordinarily we would all go down in riot gear, and it was expected that at some point, because people would be drinking all day, but we had an instance where as the fireworks show was breaking up and there was enormous crowds down there, some imbecile threw a firecracker and into this mob of people that were filing away from the band shell area. And it bounced on top of a stroller.
Oh my God.
It went off, and the child began to scream. And the mob immediately jumped to the conclusion that the child had been injured. And of course, the mom did. Pat McCarthy and I were on foot patrol when the lynching was beginning. This mob was going to beat this 19-year-old kid to death. And so as we waded in to rescue him, and I mean, we're getting lumped because this moron is throwing an M80 in the middle of a mob. And, this is the sort of thing we saw in Oceanside. It's just people doing stupid things. And we managed to rescue him. And I wonder if someday I'm going to be apologizing to the ghost of Charles Darwin for that one.
We shot a cannon off one year in the Central Valley. That didn't end up very well. That was a rough one. It hit the neighbor's barn.
A real cannon?
Yeah, it was a real cannon with a real cannonball.
4th
of July. What do you want to do? It wasn't my idea. I mean, I was there, but and I was all for it. I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. But apparently, shooting those things are dangerous. So, but I mean, you were out in like 40 acres of. Not enough. 40 acres wasn't enough. I thought it was enough. So.
When I was a kid,
if we're talking about like a Napoleon 12-pounder or brass cannon from the Civil War.
Yeah, I mean,
those things will off the shell 2 miles. So no 40 acres. It's funny.
I could see that conversation coming together.
Yeah.
How far do you think it will go, Frank? I don't know, Josh.
About 40 or 50 acres.
I mean, like I can't go out and buy a machine gun, but I can buy a piece of artillery.
Yeah, no question about it. Yeah, it went really, really far. I don't know how far the neighbor's barn was, but it was a long way away, and it hit the side of the barn, and they were not.
Were you aiming for the barn?
What's that? No, no. I
thought I'd ask for your neighbor.
No. We were not aiming for anything. We were aiming for an open field, and that's what it was. And we just,
the barn was in the way.
The barn was in the way. If anything,
somewhere in the United States Army, an artillery unit is thanking God you never enlisted.
Well, yeah, it was fun to explain. Luckily I was only 17, so I wasn't liable for the whole thing. It was my uncles that had to speak to the sheriff and then the bomb squad after that as well. So they're the ones that had to explain what happened. But I'm not going to say I didn't help roll the thing out, and say, yeah, this might be a great idea. It wasn't a great idea, but it was an experience.
What gave you the hint when they rolled the cannon out?
Yes.
Yeah, that looks like a good idea. Let's roll with it.
I mean, you watched the movie Gettysburg and understood what rolling the cannon forward meant.
It was very heavy.
Did anybody stuff the cannonball in with a very large plunger?
There was some stuffing going on. Yeah.
Wow.
There was. I mean, look, you're allowed. I guess you're allowed to have this. He said he got it at a pawn shop.
The old cannonball in the pawn shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget, it's not just fireworks that people shoot off on the 4th.
Cannon and cannonball sold as a pair.
There you go, man.
I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, it's almost like
no to that.
Exactly. You got 40 acres out there. Nothing bad's going to happen. Now, to be fair, the barn was a little decrepit, and so it probably helped him get some insurance money. Or
Blame
something.
the victim. Blame the victim.
That poor barn. But like I said, it was so long ago, but it was interesting. But yeah, you guys would have been the ones responding, going, "Hey, who are the idiots that are responsible for this?" And
actually, we would have been back at the barn going, "That's a cannonball.
That's pretty cool, man." Yeah,
let's find it.
All right, yeah. Keep an eye on them. Let's put the cannonball in the trunk of the cop car.
See where it goes.
Oh, they didn't give the cannonball back.
Oh no, it's in the evidence room.
Forgive me if I don't express shock at that.
It was technically it was taken, but I said it was seized. But yeah, I mean, it was not. They were not going to give that thing. They're not giving it back. They didn't take the cannon though. But what good's a cannon without a cannonball? It's no good. So that happened, and but
you could stuff a very small person into it and fire them off like a carny act.
That was their next trick.
That's
but
true,
they couldn't find a match.
Yeah, we need a 9-year-old. You got a brother?
Are you telling me that none of you have ever fired a cannon before?
Not with kids in it.
No,
not that kind of cannon.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I fired a blank round for me. I was a Civil War reenactor for many years, and I got dragooned into an artillery unit up until I discovered it's way too much like work. But yeah, I have actually,
You did Civil War reenactments?
I did Civil War reenactments. I was at the 100. I won't bore your audience, but there was a huge reenactment in '98, and this is more of the proof I'm a nerd. There were 27,000 reenactors in Gettysburg, and we lived in huge camps, and it was pretty much, we were the largest, I think we were the largest city in Adams County, and they restaged Pickett's charge with the same number of Confederate troops. So yeah, I did that for a number of years.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, I was watching something about the Civil War just the other day, and I knew that it was a very deadly war. I didn't know it was the most deadly war in the history.
I'll email you a picture, Josh.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. Please do. I had no idea how many people. Like, I knew a lot of people died. I had no idea that it was like over 600,000 people.
That is correct.
I mean, I think World War II, I think it was about 400,000 Americans. And, I mean, just the sheer, the vastness of destruction was just
Yeah, more civilians died in World War II than the Civil War.
Yeah. Right.
About
Yeah,
11 million civilians,
Yeah.
counting the Holocaust, of course.
Right. Yeah, I had no idea that it was. I knew that obviously that it was deadly, and that, and I know a lot of people died from. They wouldn't die immediately either. A lot of people would get shot, and they would die from like infections that couldn't be cleaned, and infections.
And many died of disease.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a crazy thing. Just even listening to all the things that. Yeah, well, I mean, what a time, to be alive and have to.
Well, and remember, Josh, this was actually the Battle of Gettysburg was fought on July the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So we've just finished, and those should be on their way to you.
Cool.
We just finished the anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg, and I was fortunate when I was a reenactor here in Virginia to be able to camp on the actual battlefield, which is, they don't allow that you ordinarily. So yeah, it was a fun time, but I'm too old to do that now. And
you don't want to roll.
Also, remember, you're wearing a wool uniform in the middle of summer, which is probably proof of insanity in some states.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. Hold on here.
Did you get them?
Yeah, I got them. I'm uploading them.
Excellent.
Right now. Let me show you the first one here.
A wool uniform in the summer heat in Virginia with humidity, correct?
With humidity, we wore leather brogans. We had, oh, by the way, if you're going to be realistic, you also wear a waistcoat or vest. The wool uniform, and we would also carry a pack of 20 to 30 pounds. The musket itself was 12 pounds, all the gear. It's fun that's the recreation of the Pickett's Charge. And
there it is, with the pipe. I love it.
And there are cannons behind us firing. I don't know if they were aiming at a barn, Josh, but
John, is that a period pipe?
Actually, that pipe is of modern manufacture, but it is actually, you could have gone back to 1860 and gotten that Peterson pipe. So that's one of their standard. In fact, that's kind of similar to the one I have now, but it would have been authentic for the period, but no, it wasn't actually manufactured back then.
So what do you mean? So you guys weren't shooting at a barn?
Well, there was a barn, Josh, but
of course there was.
On a reenactment, you're not allowed to shoot real ammunition.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be allowed to do that ever, but we did. Mistakes were made. Just put it that way.
Just a cannon.
It's a pawn. They sold it at a pawn shop.
There he is.
There he is.
And that's on the Gettysburg battlefield, and that's a more recent picture.
That's very cool.
And it's also without my mustache.
Did you feel naked?
I did. I did it because my wife wanted to see what I look like without a mustache.
Why didn't you guys do that before you got married?
I don't know. But the moment I shaved it off, she said, "Throw it back."
Right. Well, at least she didn't leave you. So that's good.
Yeah.
You would think that that's something that you would negotiate before the marriage, right? I mean, she go, "Hey, can I see you without your beard?" You don't wait to get married for that to happen.
Before you get married, they're going to go negotiate that haircut. Show me the side. There you go. Yeah, flip it to the other side now.
You mean the beautiful haircut?
Yeah, they're going to negotiate that. Trust me.
That's a thick. For 40 years old. That's a thick head of hair. I got to be honest with you. I'm proud of it. Okay.
Looks like a comb over in the back there, Josh.
Yeah.
Is it?
Does it?
The old Dallas Layton. Give me the Dallas Layton.
Yeah.
It's kind of a. It's like a kind of a mullet, sort of.
What is it? What's it called when you go in for that? I mean, there's got to be a name for it.
Nah, there's no name. I'm not falling for
Like
that.
the Apache or something. What is it?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not telling you what it is.
So it does have a name, and it's a name that can be made fun of.
No,
That's
I don't think so. It's just it's just called like a tape.
Make me look like Josh.
Make me
And of
look
course,
like.
I can't laugh because I don't have any.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Make me look like John. And shave my head. I mean, I don't. I've done that
I
before
have
too.
hair in the back, and I could grow it enough in the back to comb it forward.
Yep, looks like an RBH.
Yeah, our regular boy's haircut.
Why am I catching strays here? What did I do?
Because you're the host.
You're the host. You're going to get all the strays, buddy.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Incoming.
And we're at your house.
Not
We're
just the
guests
strays.
you don't
You're going to
want.
get some direct fire.
I'm getting to. I'm not. Yeah, I'm getting everything. I'm air, land, and sea. The thing was too. I thought about wearing a hat tonight, but I was like, oh, I got a haircut yesterday. Why would I do that? Now I'm regretting all of it.
Wait a minute. Wait. Just say that one more time. You got a haircut yesterday
Yes,
for the Giants win or something? And what happened?
I just went and got a haircut.
What did they cut off? It looks exactly the same.
As
But
what?
what's that little doodad on the left side? Yeah, right there. What is that?
What? It's like the hair.
No, in the back, not the front.
It's where the hair. It's like in the.
It's like a mohawk.
That's the part he's going to dye pink on Monday.
What's your?
He just didn't have time to do it
That's
yesterday.
true. Yeah.
Well, no. What is it called though? Seriously, when you go in,
It's called a
you
fade.
say
It's called
fade?
a taper fade. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Why is that? Are you
The
going to get one
taper
now?
being like the
No, I mean, it's-
sort of animal in South America.
Yeah, I was just say Guatemala. Or where'd you get your inspiration? Where'd it come?
I don't know. I just said, can I have a taper?
It's a good haircut.
I'm not saying.
Obviously, you're young. You're young. You wear it well. Ladies like it, but
Do they?
I don't know. Where did it come from, though? I mean, in terms of
I don't know.
its inspiration.
I have no idea.
Did you just say, give me the cheese grater on the
It's
side?
this, Chris. It's the
and
same
the,
haircut I've gotten for years. I don't know why you're just.
No, no. Actually, you had a different one, didn't you? When I first met you, you had a different haircut.
It's true.
Okay. See?
And you want to bring that up?
No, I'm not losing it. I'm just telling you.
He wants to.
You had a
Hey,
different
Bob, guess what? I had a man bun at one point.
North Korea. Somebody is saying North
I
Korea.
can believe that.
Love it. Zoo.
But that was years ago.
A boy band.
It was nice. That was a nice hair. That was nice. But I still got the same haircut. It was just longer. That's all. What's wrong with a man bun?
Everything.
Well, look, I don't
Men-
have it
men
anymore.
should not have buns. Number one, ever.
Yeah.
Men,
At least not on your head.
at least not on your head.
I
That's
always
right.
thought the man bun looked like a big trash bag that you tied off, and what was left was. I mean, not you. I'm certain it looked great on you, Josh,
It did.
but
Thank
on
you.
other guys.
No, it did. It looked great on me, I thought.
Just
what else?
the name alone, man bun.
Yeah, but I didn't call
Where
it
did
that.
that name come from?
I don't know. It's a man with a bun. Like it only makes sense.
Why didn't they call it a bunion or something?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know.
You
That's
could call it any. Chris, what do you got there? What are you looking at? You got something? Let's not talk about my haircut anymore. But
Yeah, no,
also,
I'm
Change the subject.
got the cheese snacks here with the suspect underneath, and
also people were asking, and Dr. Gary's been working, but he'll be back. He'll be back with us next week, and so. If you're asking where Dr. Gary is, he's getting he'll probably come back with the same kind of haircut that I have. And these guys won't say a word about it, probably.
No, because we make fun of Gary in other areas.
That's right.
That's
Kramer. He always gets the Kramer haircut.
That's true. He does.
Kramer from Seinfeld.
But that's because he's from New York, though.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that makes it. What's your haircut?
That's called a buzz cut. That's a '1 buzz cut.
You do it yourself, I'm guessing?
No, I don't actually. I have.
Wait a minute. You pay somebody to do that?
No, I have a female barber friend that cuts it.
For free.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like charity work.
Yeah.
Pro bono
Exactly.
haircuts.
Pro bono haircut. I mean, most people, when I would keep my hair like that, I would just cut it myself. But hey, look, as long as I have hair, I'm going to keep getting haircuts. It could go.
At least none of us are wearing Dallas Layton hair.
Yeah.
Dallas Layton wore a wig. It was a cop we worked with. And it looked like he'd gotten it at Kmart. It was like, this was not, the fibers were like nowhere near what actual hair looks like. And he either used a defective tube glue or it was too big, because the tube would like slide forward on his head. And there was a strand that had fallen in front of his face. And he perpetually would go, trying to get his toupee back in place.
You know, we used to, in roll call, we used to put a little mark on the back of his uniform shirt in pencil just to see how many days he would wear the same uniform shirt in a row.
Dallas got into a foot pursuit one night, and he's chasing some guy downtown, and we all rushed to help him. And as we pull up, and Dallas has caught the guy and has got him on the sidewalk and is handcuffing him, we go, "What's the crime?" You know, thinking, all right, maybe there's evidence we need to look for. Dallas looks at us and says, "He told me that I have an ugly tooth." Well, for starters, that's not a violation of the law, and that is not even a misstatement of fact. And that's one of those things where you say, yeah, I'm getting back in the car and driving away because I don't want to be anywhere near this arrest.
Amen.
Oh man, it's ridiculous. Well, Chris, we were talking before the show. Were you gonna show something?
Which part? Wait, remind me. I got so engrossed in your haircut.
I've noticed. That's why we're shifting as fast
which
as
part,
we can.
bro?
It was about the dog.
Oh, I showed John. Yeah, the report.
So gross in my haircut. It's not. Is it? I mean, is it really that bad of a haircut?
No, it looks great. We're just, you know what? You wouldn't be our friend if we didn't give you enough grief.
I mean, I'm just saying, like it's okay if you don't like it.
No, it looks great. We just like to look. We're the same kids that used to burn ants with magnifying glasses.
Yeah, I know you guys are sick.
Correct.
And so, this is just what we are.
Crispy.
Sick.
I'll have extra crispy, please.
Well, I figured we could take some calls tonight. I'm sure there are people that have some questions out there. And by the way, Chris, like I said, I'm sure that we'll talk about the Kalala hearing, which I don't know. It seemed to turn out to be not a lot of anything, sort of quiet. What did you think about it, Chris?
Oh, I think it's going to be. We'll see what's going to happen in September. They punted for now, and let's see. This is July, August, September. They got 2 more months. So the investigation's got 2 more months. We'll see what's happening. Maybe a nothing burger, maybe an everything burger. We don't know yet. I mean, that's my takeaway. I mean, just the fact that there's still, I every single day I go and I check the docs. The documents aren't uploaded yet. The initial docs were sealed, but then they were unsealed. But now these docs, they've just kind of gone MIA. In Pacer, I have access to the federal document system. And so we'll see.
Yeah. what did you think? What did you think, Bob?
Well, I think there's a good chance that he is providing information to the feds, either on the Guthrie case or on another case. He got a sweetheart deal. Those were 2 felonies that he pled guilty to on Thursday. So that's serious stuff.
Yeah, it
And-
almost seemed like it was too much of a sweetheart deal.
Well, and that's why I say he is likely providing some information again on either on the Guthrie case or some other case, some other most likely a drug case, or it could be a number of things. But it just seems too much of a sweetheart deal for me because I don't know what kind of criminal history Mr. Colella has, but I believe he has some. And it would be unlikely when you plead guilty to 2 federal felonies that you would get just a straight up 5 years of probation. Actually, it's 10 years probation. It's 5 years on each count to run concurrent. If I got that correct.
Was it concurrent or consecutively?
No, concurrent.
Okay.
Hence the 5 years. But he gets 5 years on each count, I believe, is how the judge.
Okay.
Well, actually, that hasn't been consummated yet because he just changed his plea in front of a magistrate judge. And for those that are not aware of how the federal system works, a magistrate judge cannot sentence on a federal felony. It has to be a federal court judge. Okay, and the difference is this. A magistrate is appointed and a federal judge is nominated by a president and his administration and has to be confirmed by the Senate. So that's a different position. Obviously, the federal judge that's confirmed by the Senate is the higher level of federal judge, a magistrate judge. And I can't remember, I think they're 10-year contracts for the magistrate judge. And that's what it is. They're really contract employees, if you put it in a literal sense. And so they're not voted on, except for a group of federal judges who not only take nominations for the position, but they run through a series of interviews and so forth of qualifications, and then a group of federal judges in each district appoints the magistrates for that.
Who was
particular district.
the judge? Who was the judge again? I forget.
Jacqueline Ratau, Rateau, I believe. So that's how that works for those that are not aware.
Okay, interesting. Give me 1 second here, and I'm going to update the layout so we can take.
But Mr. Colella will be sentenced on the 10th of September. And between now and sentencing date, the United States Probation Department will conduct a pre-sentence investigation, and they will go through Colella's all his background, his current situation, his home life, his criminal history, of course, and then of course there's an issue apparently with his drug use. So they will delve into that extensively. The probation department in the hearing the other day, they gave the probation department a deadline in which to have that report completed and conveyed to the judge, the assistant U.S. attorney handling the case, and then Mr. Colella's defense attorney. So, and then they all can object to anything in that report. And then they just have to get together and resolve whatever conflict there may be. And sometimes that doesn't happen. So then it would be up to the judge to make a ruling on whatever the conflict would be.
Were any of you surprised at the leniency of the by the court? I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah, it seems like it seems like it would be a much bigger deal.
I expect it's a case of the carrot and the stick. And for your British audience, I believe that Derek is now assisting police with their inquiries. He is probably talking about criminal cases that doesn't necessarily have anything to do necessarily with the Guthrie case, but he's being given the opportunity to, I believe, earn his probation. And if they're going to assess his drug use, what are we assuming? Methamphetamine?
I believe that's what he told the court, was that he has a meth addiction. I could be wrong, but I believe
Have you
that's
ever
what
known
he said.
anybody that's actually gotten off meth? I mean, we've all met everybody who is, honest to God, Mr. Lamb, I just got off this morning. We'll be on tomorrow.
It's a tough one.
It is.
I've never seen a situation where a defendant was before a federal magistrate and copped out right then and there to being under the influence.
Yeah,
And-
when you go to federal court, you
and the
end up
judge doing
going to jail.
Doing zero, doing nothing.
Nothing.
Well, his release conditions mandated that he be tested probably weekly while he was out on release prior to the pleading on Thursday. So that's how they discovered it. So he would have to go in and provide a urine sample at the probation office there well, he could do it in any U.S. probation office, but he had to go give a sample there. And then, of course, they forwarded that to the probation officer handling the case. And
so
I
read one report that he copped out. Yeah, it was 4 days ago, and that he also copped out before the court in the courtroom that he was UI at that moment.
Yeah, I don't think he had much choice there. I mean, they had him dead to rights, and he can stand there and try and muddy the water. But that's another reason why I think there's some deal on the table, and he's hopefully going to benefit from it, provided that he can give some pertinent information again on the Guthrie case or some other case.
Yeah, because it doesn't really send a message to people to say, hey, do not do this when something like this happens. I mean, if he has nothing to do with it and he just interjects himself, by happenstance because he's on meth and causes a big issue for the family or, the investigation, it does not send a clear-cut message to anybody else that is stupid enough to try to get involved, because they're like, well, what do we got to lose? We'll get rehab or something.
So if he had not pled guilty, changed his plea, and this case were to go to trial, who do you think the witnesses would be in his case? Josh?
The people that he contacted?
Well, remember what the charges are and what the allegations are, I should say. I mean, who are the likely witnesses in that case? It's going to be Annie and Tommaso. And I'm not accusing Annie and Tommaso of doing anything wrong. I want to make that abundantly clear. But they would still be witnesses in that case.
Yeah, because he was the one that got a hold of them.
Exactly.
And whoever the third person who was contacted that they have yet to identify.
In the family.
Yeah. Which was did you guys expect them to do that?
I did a video about it yesterday.
It's unbelievable that all of that is.
This is how it would go. The people call Annie Guthrie to the stand, please. Mrs. Guthrie, where were you on ... and at what time? Blah blah blah. Do you own a phone? Yes. What's that phone number? ... Okay. And at any time on that particular day, at that particular time, did you receive a text message? Yes, I did. From who? I don't know. What did the message say? And it just goes on. Then they'd put Tommaso on, the same questioning. Hey, but at any time now, the defense gets an opportunity to ask questions, and they're going to stand up. And the first question they're going to ask is, how are you related to Nancy Guthrie? And they're going to tell them, and then they're going to go through the Q&A, and they're going to get them to, just answer yes, yes. Now, this is a yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, all day long. And at some point, if any door is open, they're going to ask the one question, well, how do we know she's missing? Well, we went over to the house that morning to check. And what did you do when you got over there? And the prosecutions go, Your Honor, we object, out of scope. And the defense is going to turn and say, no, Your Honor, that's exculpatory to my client. We don't even know if Nancy Guthrie is missing yet. We got to lay that foundation. And guess what happened? They don't have to get on the stand now because Kalala took a deal. So we'll never, ever hear what they told the police the first day they got there.
Here's another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
These text messages from Kalala to Annie and Tommaso were sent on the 4th, I believe, February 4th. Did Annie and Tommaso discover those text messages and report them to the FBI or Pima County Sheriff, or did the FBI and Pima County Sheriff discover them when they examined Annie and Tommaso's phones? I don't think we have the answer to that. If I'm wrong and missed it, somebody please tell me, but I don't think we have the answers to those, to that question.
And because of a plea deal, it'll never be known?
We won't know it now, at least not in connection with Kalala. We won't.
And we'll also, we remember we're not getting the arrest affidavit in its totality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's still information redacted.
There's a warrant that was issued for his arrest to extradite him back from California to Arizona. We have that warrant is also not in Pacers. It's in there, you just can't see it.
And this was a federal case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just add something real quick. I think it's only fair to say that in answering my own question that Annie and Tommaso were right in the throes of Nancy, just a few days prior being taken. And so it's quite possible that they're not paying attention to what's on their phone. Okay. I want to make that clear. And I understand that, but it would be an interesting question to know the answer to whether or not they saw the messages and whether they reported them or not, an extortion attempt. So, I'd like to eventually find the answer to that.
Yeah, and I want to dovetail into what Bob is saying. Somebody answered a phone.
Yeah, for 9 seconds.
Picked up the line, yeah.
So somebody knows something about Kalala. Twinky dink.
But they don't have to testify now.
Nope. Yeah, and I used the analogy yesterday, and those that want to go see it, please go over and check it out. It's about 15 minutes long, but it's right to the point. The interesting thing about it is it's kind of a Nanos. I gave the analogy of when Nanos beat the crap out of the guy in El Paso with the flashlight and put him in the ICU. Well, that was a catch-22 for that guy, for the guy who got beat up. Because when it went to the grand jury, he refused to testify under the Fifth Amendment because a smart attorney, his defense attorney at the time, told him, well, if you get up there and you testify that this guy did this to you, hey, guess what else you open yourself up to? What's that? Well, the armed robbery that you're in custody for. And I'm not going to allow them to do that, so therefore you're not going to testify. And so guess what happens when that happens? Nanos walks. They can't get a true bill and an indictment. So he walks, and Pima County hires him.
Yeah, make sure to go over to the interview room. It's under the videos tab, not the live tab, under the videos tab. Chris did a live about it, or excuse me, a video about it, not a live yesterday. You have a show tomorrow, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So make sure that your notification bell's on. We're going to go ahead and take our first call here.
So in technicality, I'm sorry about.
No, go ahead. Please go.
In technicality, had Nanos been, or had that guy been allowed to testify, we probably never would have seen Nanos. He probably would have been in prison, or at least take a deal. That's how bad the beating was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have affected if people who like books like alternate history. How might this entire event be altered had there been a different sheriff occupying the office of Pima County Sheriff?
So that's the leadership principle that he went into Pima County with. I can beat prisoners and get away with it. And do you wonder? I think what we should do is some nanoisms tonight. Just a couple of them. Okay. Here's one I came up with. Or I'll just fire from the hip. I see what you're seeing, but I'm not sure if I saw it correctly. So maybe we could see it together, and perhaps something that we see together, we'd also know together, but we're not really seeing the right thing that we thought we saw. Perhaps if we see it a little bit better and clearer, maybe perhaps then we can all see it together, and therefore we are all seeing the same thing.
That's pretty good. I mean,
John, you got one?
You know what? My brain froze up just listening to that, because that is all too reminiscent of police administrators I've heard over the years. I'll share one with them, which was, there was a police administrator, let's call him Sheriff Nanos, who says, or could have said, he's put out this entire review of an operation, and I, at the point at the meeting, said, but none of that actually happened. You're speculating. And his response to me was, well, that may be reality, but I don't choose to look at it that way. This was a police lieutenant who told me this. And I said, you are aware, sir, that what you have just identified yourself as being is mentally ill.
Right.
And,
I mean, that's what it is. Yeah.
And that is, unfortunately for your viewers here, you think we're making this stuff up, and we aren't. When you see the people running these departments, you should be thankful that it's not looking like the fall of Rome with the Visigoths sitting it. It's just astonishing.
And not all police and sheriff administrators are like Nanos or anything like Nanos or some of these problem people. I'll reference this Grady Judd in Florida.
Oh, he's great.
I mean, there's some great police and law enforcement administrators out there. So they're not all demented or mentally challenged.
I think Nanos is a special kind.
Perhaps.
Well, this is how he would answer that. Perhaps, maybe. What, you guys want answers? What?
I don't work from a script.
You guys are doing such a great job.
I don't work from a script.
Perhaps what,
Yeah, let me check the families. Yeah, the talking points from the family. Let me check those first.
But look, everybody knows the greatest quote that he's ever done.
Haters are going to hate. Haters are going to hate.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who wants to hear that from your top law enforcement official?
You're going to have the haters, right? Haters are going to hate.
Exactly.
That's my favorite. As the first day I heard that, I go, "That's going on the soundboard right away." Because I mean, I've only heard, seriously, I've influencers say that, and criminals. That's about it.
I think my favorite law enforcement administrator ever was Daryl Gates from LAPD.
Yep.
In my opinion, absolutely the cream of the crop when it came to police chiefs, and that's good leadership, in my opinion, and that's how you run an agency, especially a large agency, is the way Daryl Gates handled it.
All right, let's take a call here. Debbie, go ahead, Debbie. You're on.
Hi, thanks.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I had the pleasure of watching the YouTubers that I didn't know any of that, were out in front of Nancy's dog got arrested and all that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And they were in front of the courthouse covering this. And they were not allowed to have their cameras past a certain point. But anyway, they got there like 2 hours before what they call it, the corporate press, I think is what they call it, corporate media. But anyway, it's interesting. A couple of them stayed out there and kind of babysat all the cameras and stuff. And then some of them went into the courthouse and then came back out and reported what happened. And I found it quite interesting. I mean, I watched this guy that I'd never heard of for 4.5 hours. So naturally I had to subscribe to him. Don't quite exactly remember his thing. Oh, but Chris, I got to tell you, he follows after he watches the interview room, and then he spends time commentating on your interview room. But he talks so much through it, he doesn't hear half the stuff you're saying, which is hilarious because then he's going, I don't get it. Why is he looking at that? That's Annie's house. That's not Nancy's house. But anyway, but it was interesting because they did come out and say that he got 5 years probation. He was sent directly to the rehab. They watched him go in, but from the trial from the hearing, he went directly, I guess, out a back door because they didn't see him come out. But he's directed because he was high, I guess, technically. While he was there, they sent him right to rehab. And then after the rehab, then of course he got the 5 years probation, and the sentencing will be on the 10th. And I guess he can get up to 5 years, I think they said. But he says that he didn't know the family. It was just I was high. I didn't know what I was doing. It was a stupid decision, which of course, whatever, it's a cop out. But what I find interesting about the whole thing is he says he doesn't have anything to do with it, but he did say that he did do that. And he sent these emails to all these people from his own email address with his name, which I found interesting because I haven't heard anybody else say that, but they reported that when they came out. But he used his own email, and they said even Nanos could have figured that one out. But anyway, he used his own email and sent in all these, ransom notes and crap. And it was, I think he should probably get, I don't even know what the maximum penalty is for it. I don't know the parameters of, because I don't think they even said. But I thought it was interesting that, they were out there all that time and they took the time to follow that. I thought that was neat.
There are sentencing guidelines, and the sentencing judge, the district federal judge, has a lot of leeway. He or she cannot go over a certain prescribed sentence, but they have a lot of leeway within parameters of the sentencing guidelines. So, and I don't know what they are for those charges, but here's the thing is, I know everybody's running around saying that he's getting 5 years probation, and that's the deal that's on the table right now, but he has not been sentenced yet. So if he fails in drug rehab or commits another crime or does something between now and sentencing date, actually between now and 5 years from now, he could go to jail for it. But let's say he fails out of rehab, then they're going back to the drawing table, and a new deal could include jail time. So just keep that in mind. It's not a done deal yet with respect to the 5 years probation.
And as far as the defense of I was under the influence of drug is concerned, your panel here has heard that over the past 40 years. Certainly as long as we've been in police work, every time we've arrested somebody, and if it gets to court, it was always they made the bad decision because they were under the influence of drugs.
That's what my uncle said when he shot the cannon.
Or your barber when you got the last haircut, right, Josh?
Oh,
I felt the chill from that over here.
Sorry, I couldn't help that.
It's hair envy, and I don't blame you at all. It's okay.
copy that, Alpha Bravo, fire for effect.
I appreciate you taking my call.
Well, thank you, Debbie.
You're so sweet.
I was so excited to watch that, and I even asked in the chat when I was with the one that I subscribed to first. I said, "IRL, are you there?" You know. But anyway.
Well, we appreciate your call. Thank you so much.
What are you? The interview, TIR. Anyway, I said, "Are you there?"
Happy birthday.
I didn't see it. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks very much, and now I can watch you on the TV instead of my phone.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thanks, Debbie.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there was a slew of people out there, but in federal court, there's no cameras allowed. Is that the case? I mean, that's always how it is, huh?
Yeah, and let me tell you why they, just real brief here. So in virtually all of the federal courthouses across the country, you cannot videotape in a courtroom. Now, some courthouses will allow you to take video, say in the hallway of a courthouse. Most will not allow you to videotape the screening process because that's a security issue. Virtually all courtrooms you cannot videotape in, but it's up to the presiding federal judge. So the judge that's in charge of that particular courthouse is the one that really makes the call. But none of the courtrooms can you videotape. I've actually taken cell phones away and referred people to the Marshal Service, which I was a contractor for years in the Boise courthouse. And so I've confiscated phones and done those kind of things from people that insisted on videotaping a hearing in a federal courtroom. And that is a crime. You can be charged with it, although we never charged anybody in Boise for it. But
you just confiscate their.
Well, I confiscate the phone, and then the marshals disposition the case. However, just depends on a lot of it depends on attitude. But so I'm being told that these YouTubers on Thursday could not film inside the courtroom, or I'm sorry, the courthouse. But they filmed to and from, and I'm sorry, they filmed in the front of the courthouse, and I don't know if any of them caught Colella walking in, but he could have gone in a different door. There's probably a secondary area where he was taken through.
I didn't see any video of him.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I think I saw his mother. Is all I saw. Which is always good when your mom shows up to court with you when you're like a 40-year-old,
Right. Yeah.
You always want that to happen.
Yeah. Put your big boy pants on, Derek.
Josh.
And yeah.
What's that? What's that?
Welcome to 2020.
It's just, I was like that poor lady, they just put their mothers through so much just turmoil, and it's like, I don't know how old the lady is. I'm guessing in her 70s. At that point, you would hope that she would have to stop.
Somebody in the chat asked if Colella was cleared through security. Yeah, and he was. Everybody that comes in the courthouse is cleared. Unless you're an employee in the building, then you automatically have a security clearance. But everybody coming in, even the attorneys, they're all screened through the screening process when you enter. Doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah, I don't know. It does seem like a sweetheart deal, and it seems like that there's, like Chris said, there's a lot of work that needs to be done between now and the sentencing, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, there's still 2 months, and I've seen things where all three of us have seen, stuff going on behind the scenes. Public has no idea what's going on, or it could be like we said in the very beginning. It could be an absolute nothing burger that he was, a tweaker. But I think one of the clues, though, maybe there's more going on here. Like Bob said, maybe he's, doing other things for not necessarily this case. Maybe there's another case.
Right.
Right.
Sure. Maybe he's got information.
Yeah. They rolled him into something, right? Look what just happened to Newsom. His secretary, his number one gal, just wore a wire, and they just nailed him. Newsom's going down.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And wire for quite some time.
They're going to wrap him up in a little bow and say, "Thank you very much, California."
Some kind of corruption charge?
Yep.
Hard to believe in California, but
yeah,
it looks
I'm shocked.
Like it's the case.
A politician in corruption? Are you kidding?
Go figure.
Yeah, it's never
I'm
happened.
glad you're sitting down, Bob.
Boy,
let me see.
I have to take a sedative.
Talk about total betrayal, right?
Yeah.
Well, that tells you how much they had on the secretary. That, to be willing to wear the wire. So who do we have next, Josh?
Well, there's Susan is there, but it says her device is not connected. Also, if you're looking to get in, now is the time to do it. We got
her name was Alexis Podesta, and she secretly recorded conversations of a federal public corruption probe into Dana Williamson, Newsom's former chief of staff. $225,000. But anyway, it sounds like she wore a wire. Podesta has ties to Newsom's inner circle and previously Jerry Brown's, but Newsom's office has distanced themselves, stating there's no evidence the wire was connected to the governor himself. Yeah, okay. We'll see.
Well, technically, that's accurate if no information has been released.
That's true. That's true.
Let me see. Hold on. For some reason, it's saying that the people are having trouble connecting, but let me redo it here.
When did that story about Newsom break? I didn't see anything about it.
It was a couple days ago.
Oh.
Yeah, like two days ago, I think.
Oh, Gavin. Meanwhile, back at the winery during COVID.
With the French Laundry restaurant.
Film at 11. Oh, I love that press conference. Remember that one where during COVID, while we're waiting for a caller? Okay, everybody, remember, put your mask on.
My brother lives in the vicinity of Marin County, where the French restaurant, and they were having rolling brownouts. And he remembered this a couple of years ago. For those who are unaware of the term, basically it was that they would shut off power in various parts of California because the demand was too great. but there was one area my brother said he was going to go get dinner. And I said, well, I understand the power's out. He goes, oh no, the area around where these politicians live, the power never gets turned off.
Yeah.
No.
I had that bitter pill when, during COVID, I share with Josh when my son he got hit by a truck and rolled him over, and he was 16, and I couldn't even go into the ER to see him because of COVID restrictions.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Absolutely. They made me wait outside while my son's in the hospital from a rollover accident at 16. I almost blew a gasket. So that was enough for the politicians for me. I don't care what side they're on. You're going to pull that crap with the public. Forget it.
Just nuts. All right, let's see if this would. Tara, go ahead, Tara, you're on.
Hi, guys. Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. Where are you calling from?
We're calling from Anderson, Missouri. Me and my husband, he's right here with me. We're watching you guys. Yay.
Oh, hi. Hi.
Hi. Okay,
Hi,
so I had a question. I watched an interview. I don't think it was new today, but I watched it today with Harvey Levin, and I think it's Mark. I'm probably going to botch Mark Garrett. I don't know how to say that, but
yeah, his last name's not
Garagos.
Well, they had an interesting opinion, and I was going to see what you guys thought about it. The Mark guy was telling Harvey that he had thought the FBI purposely planted the story about the ransom notes being both fake. They suspected that there was because there's apparently maybe a division in the FBI of some people thinking they are fake and some people not. And Harvey kind of seemed to, of course, offended by that and he was saying that he contacted the FBI and he was insinuating, higher up. He said, so then I called higher up. So I don't know who he talked with. And he asked them, why did you say that? And they basically said, well, all I can say is some people here think one way and some people think another. So I was just curious to see what you guys' take was on, if there is some internal division in the FBI going on with maybe some think they are fake and some not, or do you think that the FBI is all on the same page and this is just the media kind of trying to make them look bad? I was just curious what you guys' thoughts were.
I think it's a little bit of all of that, Tara. I don't put a lot of stock in any of these notes, including the first two. And it's because I believe that, to use Gary's terminology, I believe that this is an elimination murder.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't put a lot of stock in this abduction for ransom or kidnap for ransom theory.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that said, I do think it's likely that the FBI is trying to get some kind of response in making that written statement that they did a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it really doesn't matter whether they think it's a kidnap for ransom or not, the way I see this. I think that they're just keeping it alive a little bit in the media to see if they can get a response. And if the response is one consistent with any of the others. And so the more response that they get, the better chance that they have of finding out who the people or person is that are sending these emails. And I'm not necessarily referring to this guy that claims he has a video of Nancy, and he'll tell them where the cell phone is with the video if they put one Bitcoin in this account. Why not go for the $1.2 million? If you have solid information on any of this,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't you go for the 1.2 million? So I don't put, again, just to reiterate very quickly, I just don't put a lot of stock in these ransom or demands for money. I think this was an elimination murder, and hopefully we'll find out the details at some point.
I actually agree with you totally, Bob. I just was curious, really just more nosy, wondering what's going on in the FBI. Are they starting to turn on each other? Because the Mark Garagos guy was also saying that Harvey thinks he knows why. Something about there was two papers or two outlets, media outlets that knew the wallet number, and the FBI told Harvey, we're going to put some money in. Don't say that there's anything, but they forgot to tell the other media outlet. And the other media outlet, and Harvey claims he was on the phone with the FBI, and he heard one FBI guy turn to the other and say, "Did you not tell them?" He claims that,
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anytime you have a group of people, and that includes a group of FBI agents, you're probably going to have a little bit of division. We've talked many times, Chris, John, Gary, and I, we've all talked about how we discuss cases and how we try and decide the best course to take in a case. And we don't always agree. And so you probably do have some of that. I don't know if Mark Garagos' theory is accurate. He's trying, in my opinion, Mark is trying to, he's a defense attorney. He's a very well-known defense attorney and a very good one. And so I'm not taking anything away from him.
I disagree.
But he is a defense attorney. He's also stepped into a lot of media lately. He's got a couple of different shows, including the one with Harvey Levin and Levin, however you pronounce Harvey's name. And so there is an entertainment value there too. So they're not just going to go on air and twiddle their thumbs and say mundane things. They're going to try and create some controversy, and I think that's all this is coming from Garagos.
My question about that is that we've all taken phone calls from the media. Now, if I had a meaningful disagreement with other detectives, do you think I would leave the phone so that Harvey Levin could hear the discussion, so that he could say, "Oh, well, I heard the one FBI agent say to the other FBI agent." I'm not saying that's an impossibility, but what I am saying is it runs counter to my experience, and I'm certain their experience in dealing with the media with a case. And then the thing about that is that if this is the case, he can provide no empirical evidence that he actually heard those things. So we have to take it on faith that we have to believe that he is factually reporting. And I'm sorry, I have problems with that, knowing what I know about the FBI, who wouldn't tell you the time of day if they had a calendar in front of them and a clock.
That's such a good point.
Closed mouth.
That's a very good point.
Also, Mark thinks that Scott Peterson is innocent. So,
well, he was his attorney. Yeah, he's going to say that. So.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. I don't watch that show regularly. It popped up in my feed. So, but
I know defense attorneys that think that their clients are guilty.
Well, thank you guys. I'll let you go. I thought it was curious because Pima County, which they deserve the heat, they get so much heat, and we've heard for months. But now it's like the FBI is finally getting, or not saying they deserve it, but is getting heat now, and it's like interesting to me. I'm like, oh, maybe things are going on in the FBI too. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting when Reuters comes out with something, and Reuters is such a big, big newspaper that the FBI is forced to sort of clarify, but it always seems to go back to square one, and that's sort of where we are again.
I mean and let's be realistic. That the day Nancy Guthrie went missing, why is the FBI even there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A phone call was made. That's why they're there, and a box of donuts was brought over to the sheriff's department. That's right. I mean, people go missing every single day. In fact, in this country, People get murdered every single day in this country. And you do not have TMZ weighing in with Mark Garagos.
Right.
And I mean, don't misunderstand me. I try to be factual and right to the point. I'm just one of those kind of guys. This is a situation that, quite frankly, had it not been Savannah's mom, the FBI would not be on that doorstep.
And TMZ would not be covering this except for ratings and commercials.
Right. The only time we would have heard about the FBI getting involved at some point is, the text message across state lines. And that's only because there was a request for ransom, allegedly, through these notes to these two, news agencies, and then one to TMZ. So, for all we know, this when somebody says, the FBI planted it. No, I don't think the FBI planted any of this. I think it's a very well calculated plan by two other individuals, maybe three, I don't know yet, that they calculated it out.
Oh, can I tell you guys one more thing before I hop off?
Sure.
That he also said that I my jaw dropped. In the same conversation, Harvey claims that the FBI thinks a media person planted the blood in the front door and that they are going to even charge them. And Harvey acted like he knew who the FBI thought did it. Even I don't. Anyway,
wait a minute. What did he say?
Harvey said that the FBI he heard, or his connections, that he heard that they think the blood at the front door was planted by a media person, and that they even knew who they thought it was and are considering prosecuting him.
I'm the Queen of Romania.
I can see that.
Come on.
So that radio traffic that Juanita Adame made us all privy to when she did the research, that radio traffic about the blood on the porch as the deputies were responding to this on the 1st of February, that's all just fiction?
Right.
Is that all made up? Yeah, it can't be.
How would they get her blood?
I don't know, but he said that and my jaw dropped. I was like, what? This is like getting crazy.
Like
if
it was
have to put up proof, you can just say anything. So long as you're not crossing into the area of libel and slander, you can say that my contacts in the FBI told me that she was abducted and taken to Alpha Centauri. Prove otherwise.
I mean, play it out, right? To your point, Joe, there's no way a media person dropped that blood on. No, it came from Nancy Guthrie. There's no
Brian
question.
would never do that. Brian Enton would never do that.
Yeah, no. That's crazy.
All right. Well, I'm going to get off here and let you guys take another call, but have a blessed 250, guys.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy birthday.
So, I mean, that's just, I listened to about the first 7 minutes of that, and I was like, I don't want to listen to it anymore. But, all right, let's see. Charles, go ahead. Where are you calling from, Charles?
The Poconos in Pennsylvania.
Oh, all right. What can we do for you?
I want to talk about the porch guy.
Sure.
I've been working on this case since day 2, just like everybody else. And one of the things I do is I'm an art collector. And I'm used to looking at really small details. And I believe after I looked at the eyes, the lips, the stance of the person on the porch is
what instrument?
Lead guitar. And the funny part is when he stands like he's holding a guitar because he's been playing so long. When you look at him out on the grass when he's looking for stuff, it looks like he's got a guitar, if you imagine, but it's not there. I put all this stuff on Twitter and a few other places. It just when I looked at his eyes, the photograph of the eyes, and pictures of them, you can see that they match up. Both eyes, they see no two people have the same eyes or the same marks in the eyes, around the eyes. Nobody has the same marks on their lips, their face, and nobody stands the same way. I put this together. I gift wrapped it to the police department and the FBI, and they still haven't done anything.
Did they talk to you?
One time, way in the beginning, when I thought one thing, and it turns out, I believe I got fooled by like everybody else did, and I believe this is only my opinion. This part right here, I believe that she was taking not down 19, but close around to a house, because two of the people that people are talking about have realtor license, and those people would know if a house is vacant, and they could have switched her out from one place to another place, and nobody would have knew.
Okay, but you don't have any evidence that that's this gentleman that you're naming. It's just he appears to you to be one and the same.
I've taken several photographs. I've gotten them from online, and I enlarged the eyes, and I matched them up. The guy has very distinguished eyes, and there are several different shapes in his eyes, and they match 110%. It's him.
And this is Early Black. Is that the band?
Early Black, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, if you go on my name, BIGZIGS, Big Zigs at Twitter or X, you can see everything I wrote there.
I've heard this theory before, and it's not the first time that I've heard this one. But I've also seen other people bring up others as well, and claim that, I don't have an eye for that kind of stuff, so I don't get involved in it. It's just not something that I'm comfortable doing, because I'm not.
Yeah, it's my day job. When I look at art,
my eye's not trained for that. But I would have to think, though, that there has to be some sort of facial recognition software, eye recognition software out there. I mean, they get people, they ban people from Madison Square Garden through eye recognition. And, I don't know what kind of technology is out there specifically, but I think that it would be able to be proven through something like that. Wouldn't you say, John?
I don't. I'm with you. I don't have that talent of doing the sort of visual comparison, but it would occur to me that if, as you say, Madison Square Garden, Las Vegas casinos can pick people up coming in the door, and this information, I mean, obviously, if you've heard it, it has filtered its way into the investigative team. One would imagine that they would have run those images in comparison. So I too have heard this theory, but I'm going to have to just wonder if that's the case. And it would be, if I were an investigator and that information came in, I had access to that sort of software, I certainly would have submitted it. I mean, what do you guys say?
Well, and maybe they have done that, and or are doing it currently, or looking at this gentleman, but we wouldn't know it, and they're not going to tell you, sir, that what they're doing. So we have no idea, but I just want to be careful not to accuse somebody without really more evidence here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you just named him, and you know, I think the responsible thing to do is just leave it at that.
I stand firm on my decision.
Okay,
guy is-
I'm not.
Good.
I'm not.
But let's
yeah.
just say that
You know, my art collection. I
But
have
you've reported
a
it.
really nice art collection, and I stand by my art collection because of the micro work that I've done across my life. And this, I guarantee, this is the guy. 110%. This is him.
Okay. Okay, so you've reported it. So let's let the police do the police work on this and see what happens.
I appreciate your insight as well.
Yeah, I mean, and
appreciate
you
it.
clearly
It's
have a
interesting, for
talent
sure.
that most people don't.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
very
I hope
good.
you're right. I really do. I hope you're right. But we'll see. Yeah.
I don't know what else to do.
Well,
Well,
you just
it,
did
sounds,
it.
it
You
sounds
did
like
it.
you did. It sounds like
You
you did.
just did it.
Yeah, it sounds like you did what you could do. The one thing that look, you can accuse anybody you want. I'm not going to accuse anybody of it. I can't stand by what you say. I can only stand by what I say and what So that's just how it works, and we have to say that because that's just how it works. I mean, you're allowed to do anything you want. I'm not. So that's all we're saying. But I truly do appreciate your call, and I don't know. I guess they probably wouldn't. Did they follow up with you? I mean, or you only talked to them the one time?
I only talked to him the one time.
And they're not going to follow up with you. They're not going to give you updates or anything, sir. It's just not going to happen, and rightfully so. We don't know, and so it's appropriate for them to safeguard any information that they get so that they can
Well, I
investigate it
understand
prudently.
they got 50,000 or so people giving information about the case and everything, maybe even more. I
Right.
like I said, I'm just an art collector who looked at the small, minute stuff in a person's eye, on their face, on the lip. It's at the stance. I put everything all together. It's all there. I took the photograph of him with the mask on, and I took a photograph of him without the mask on, and everything lines up. It's all there.
Well, we'll see where it goes. But Charles, we appreciate your call. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Charles.
Good night.
Thanks.
So, and to be clear, like I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I can't accuse anybody of anything. It's just he can do that if he wants to. But I've seen the theories, but I've also seen those theories with many people. Like people have ran through. It happens in like every case where there's like a hidden identity type situation, and people do these layovers, and I just don't get into them because it's just not something. First of all, I don't have the software for that. I don't have the training for something like that, and it's just not really what I get into. But some people do, and some people are pretty good at it too. I'm just not one of those guys. Yeah. So Bob, so you think that if somebody reports something to the police or the FBI and there is legs to it, their communication's basically done with you.
It is, unless they need additional information, and then they'll reach out to you, probably through a personal visit. But I mean, everybody knows this by now. You're not going to have follow-up discussions with the FBI unless they make contact with you, or unless you have additional information. But they're not going to give you progress reports on how their investigation's going. It's just not going to happen. And again, rightfully so, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody came to you with that, I know, Chris, I know you followed up pretty much with everything anybody ever brought to you. Is that something that you would do?
Yeah, I mean, it's citizens who solve crimes.
Yeah, no question about that.
Yeah, you got to follow up on it. Nobody's saying don't follow up on it, but at the same time, we have to be careful not to accuse somebody by name under these circumstances.
Yeah, I mean if you look at I had somebody reach out, and it was an astronomer who said, "Hey, I did some calculations on the shadow in front of the house of porch guy, and my calculations were, I think he came up with like 2:02 a.m. based on the longitude latitude of the moon that evening." And he says the second one was a different night. I mean, and this is what this guy does. I was like, wow, that's awesome. Great. And so I thought that was really cool. And that comes off the heels of, just keeping an open mind like we all have here. And, the secondary piece of that is, dealing with the Pacific Ocean. We had Scripps Oceanography and UCSD. I used to make trips down to those professors all the time and talk to them. I mean, we had a guy, remember Carbajal, John, that went off the end of the pier. And anyway, long story short, I went down to the Scripps Oceanography and met with one of the professors down there. And I said, look, I need to know the tides and the currents and all this other stuff. Where do you think this guy will float up? And how many days you think it would take based on the evidence that you have? I swear to God, he goes, it'll take probably about, 10 days by the time the gas is all done with the body. And I'd confirm that with the ME as well. And he'll probably float up near the warm water jetty in Carlsbad because they're, digging it up or whatever where you guys are pumping the sand and everything down there in Carlsbad. Sure enough, he came up in the Carlsbad Lagoon. I was like, man, I'm going to put some, money on red.
Well, they did that. They did that in the Riley Strain case too. Remember?
I don't. But
what do you remember that? Do you remember that case?
I don't.
It was the kid that fell in the river right outside the bar in, I think it was Memphis.
Oh yeah.
Nashville. Yeah.
Nashville. Yeah.
Tennessee River in Nashville.
Yeah.
They farm crabs in that lagoon. You know that, right, Chris, John?
It wouldn't surprise
They
me.
raise crabs in that lagoon. Yeah, that's seriously.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yes, I remember seeing the pens there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it was in Nashville, and they said that, and they'd had several people. When I say several, I don't know the number, but it was many. It sounded like that had fallen in the river, and it took a certain amount of days, and they usually surfaced after a certain amount of days in a certain area, and that was the press conference that they gave. And sure enough, right around the time, it wasn't like an exact science, but it was right around the time that they gave. It was like a 7-day period, and they said they usually, if they do fall in and have drowned here, they show up around 7 days later in this area, and that's what happened. And so, it's that now there are people that still to this day they say that he was so drunk that he fell in and that there was no foul play. But people are going to speculate forever. They go, well, yeah, I don't buy that. But people get drunk and fall into bodies of water quite often. Unfortunately, it's.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have investigated things like that, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, we had the Pacific Ocean, man.
Yeah.
Well, but even with the San Luis Rey River, which is like grandiloquently named, it's not a river as Easterners or Midwesterners would recognize the term. But
show him the picture of you picking the guy out of the river, Johnny.
I'll send it.
Police magazine. You can put this up, Josh. This is give you an idea.
Yeah, it's people would fall into the river, and it was not like there was a huge amount of water in there, but yeah. And then with the ocean, we had people that would jump off the pier, which the pier was almost a mile out.
Yes. The
And
longest ones on the West Coast.
yeah, the longest wooden pier on the West Coast, and people would jump into the water and
See if they can make it back.
cold.
Did you send it to me?
Yeah, no, that guy the way they plucked out of it was Rich Castaneda actually who called us and said, "Hey, we got your guy down here." I was like, "Oh boy."
Mhm.
Yeah. And he had been missing a couple of crab things.
And I had that with the guy who
Well, that's
the
why
guy
I
who
said
was
it.
on swimming.
I know.
And yeah, Coast Guard got him in, and the medical examiner's office called us and said, this guy has a fractured hyaline cartilage, which is significant. It means that ligature strangulation. So Detective Ed Jacobs and I ran down to the medical examiner's office, and sure enough, he's got a ligature mark across his throat. And so we're wondering if this guy was, had been on a drug boat, because we would have small craft that would transport drugs from Mexico to bypass the border. But a thought occurred to me, having had to recover a body, and I will keep this in a way that people have had dinner and they won't be ill, having to recover a body from a canal when I worked in the desert. It suddenly occurred to me, maybe we needed to ask some questions of the Coast Guard and the Harbor Patrol. And as it turned out, in order to get this guy, he'd been recovered a half mile off the coast, that they'd had to put a gaffing line around his neck and yank him out of the ocean, which is what caused what appeared to be ligature strangulation.
And I'll put that up here in a second. And really quick, to address something that's been floating in the chat. No, it's not on the verge of defamation. If you're saying that somebody is something that you're accusing them of, it's absolutely defamation.
To back it up.
So that's why I said, and that's why Bob said, there's no evidence to suggest that. I'm not standing by that. He can stand by it if he wants. That's his problem. Because if it's not him, he's got a big problem coming if the guy so chooses to go that way. That's all I'm saying about it. Personally, he's put it everywhere, so it's not the first time I've seen it. So let me bring this up really quick. Boo boo. God, I love that picture of you, the Civil War outfit.
You're going to love this one better. I think the audience will enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm already looking at it. Give me a second. Yeah, I don't care if the eyes are very similar. That doesn't matter at all.
Yeah,
it really doesn't matter.
If you're going to claim that as a statement of fact, you had better be able to prove it.
Yeah, just because his eyes are similar, you think it's him. I mean, that's not good enough. Trust me.
No.
There he is.
Is that Dave Grant?
That's
That
Dave.
is Dave Grant.
Rest in peace, Dave.
Yeah, rest in peace, Dave.
Look in the right-hand corner on the bottom, Josh.
What is that?
That's his hand.
Oh, God.
That's the hand of the guy that was found in the San Luis River.
So that should answer that question. Fireworks are going off. Buddy's going off.
They're starting here, too.
So, yeah, that's, we saw people that went into the water. In this instance, the fellow was, we assume, probably intoxicated and walking along the edge of the very sandy outcropping above the water. But we had it would occasionally occur that we had people that had been unalived with machetes and thrown into this basically glorified creek.
Did you guys ever get a call out for cannon firing ever? Hi, all. Happy 4th of July to all of you across the pond.
Adrian, how are you?
Being from Scotland, we don't see live coverage inside courtrooms. I've heard this from, it's an American thing. It really is, like the publications of like court cases and where you can watch court. It seems to be quite an American thing. Do you think they should or ever change, or do you think they should or ever will change it for federal trials? I don't know. I mean, that's a great question. Probably not. It's been that way for quite a while.
Yeah, probably not anytime soon. And I'm not sure I'm in favor of it. I do believe, obviously, I believe in transparency, but there's other ways of.
But you get the transcripts and stuff, right? And
Well,
there's
you get
court
the
reporters.
Yeah.
Because
But, you know,
remember the Diddy trial, they had the transcripts and they had people inside the courtroom that were taking notes and stuff. But the problem is, and I'm going to bring this up and it's going to kick up a hornet's nest really quick, but just let it die down, because just please. But, in the Delphi case, there were no cameras allowed in there and people lost their minds about that. And, although there were court reporters in there, people were furious because it's up to the judge, correct?
In most cases, it is. Yeah. Just depends on the jurisdiction. But I think throughout the federal system, the rule all throughout the country is no cameras in a courtroom. So.
Got it. Okay. Let me see. All right. Jennifer, where are you calling from? I'm guessing New York. You there, Jennifer? She was there. You guys ever use vascular forensics to solve a case? It's a good question. Any of you guys?
Nope, not me. They're
No,
great.
The closest thing
They're
is
great on gun
forensic
bounces.
odontology. Who knows what that is?
Oh,
Not
Skip
Chris or
Sperber.
John.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Who
it
in the
teeth?
audience knows what that is?
Yeah.
Is it teeth?
Mm-hmm.
It is with teeth. We recovered a skull in Oceanside, and we had to call Skip Sperber and a forensic odontologist, and he was able to tell me that the skull probably belonged to a Native American from the Kumeyaay tribe, because he was able to show that, and probably well over 150 years old, because he was able to show that the masa, which is the cornmeal that they made tortillas, picks up stone flakes in it. And he was able to show erosion to the molars, which would have been consistent with eating food that had basically tiny flakes of gravel in it. The man was brilliant. The UN called him in on a case in Central America. He was.
I use Skip.
Yeah.
I use Skip on a number of cases, and it's really the bite mark evidence that is quite remarkable. And for a forensic odontologist such as Skip Sperber to make a comparison, even on the slightest indentation, say in skin or some other substance, it's he could see things with the aid of microscopes and other devices that I had no idea were there. And so very interesting field of forensics.
Yeah, Bundy, didn't they get Bundy on that?
Well,
I think
he was
so.
the
One of his
the
cases.
forensic odontologist on the Bundy case. One of
Okay.
them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know that was like a big deal, as one of the his victims had a bite mark, and they
Yeah, and he was called in on the case. Yeah,
What
He
a
could
great
also-
guy. Yeah.
brilliant.
He could
Yeah.
also look at your shirt and tell you if you ate Cheetos.
yeah, but that's not that hard.
You know that firsthand, Chris?
So I can be a forensic odontologist too, based on that criteria.
Cheetos, like
Correct.
crunchy or puffed.
It all depends.
Yeah. Did you guys ever see that movie Little Giants?
Was there a Yeti in it?
Yeah.
No, it's about a Pee-wee football team. It's got the guy
Oh
from,
my, that was with
Ed something from Married with Children and Rick Moranis.
yeah, Rick Moranis.
Yeah,
Who's coming back and going to make a movie, Strange Brew 2.
Yeah,
Oh
the
my gosh.
the fat kid in the movie, Zoloft was his name, or Zolfart, or something like that. Zoloft, I don't know. But
Zoloft is medication.
well, the name fits him, but he he had a head-on collision with a kid. He took his helmet off, and he had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and some Cheetos in his helmet, and the coach says, "You're never going to get anywhere treating your your helmet like a lunchbox." And he said, "What is it?" He said, "Peanut butter and jelly sandwich and Cheetos." And he says, "Crunchy or puffed?" And he says, "Puffed." He goes, "Oh, what a wimp." So, I mean, it does matter. All right, Jennifer, we'll try you again. And also, Barb, it says your device is not connected. If you could connect it, we'd be happy to take your call. Jennifer, go ahead. All right, I don't think Jennifer's coming through. I don't think so. We have a backstage full of people that have devices not connected.
Okay, while you're doing that, classic one-liners. You gonna eat those tater tots?
Napoleon Dynamite. Am I right?
You got it, man.
It's a great one. It's a very cool stuff. Okay. Barb, go ahead, Barb.
Hi. Hi,
Hey.
guys.
How are you?
I'm good. So I wanted to chat about the ransom notes with the Nancy Guthrie. The way I see it, there's kind of three different types of notes they could be, and they talk about them being either like one of two definitive things, either fake or real. So if you think in my personal primary theory, I think the notes are real notes related to the case, but I don't necessarily think that they have anything to do with actually ever expecting or wanting money. So that part of it is fake. I think they're there to fabricate. They're fabricated, but they're directly related to the case. So I guess that's a third kind of a note. With all the talk about the FBI saying, oh, they're real or they're fake, and then, okay, now, no, the original two are real. Does that necessarily change any of your guys' theories on what you think is going on? And I'm not asking you to tell me what your theories are or anything. But I don't really see that changing anything.
It doesn't for me. No.
No.
No,
Yeah, I think the notes are noise.
Yeah, chaff.
Yeah, noise. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Like you don't think so? So with all the back and forth, you and I discussed this last time, Chris. Do you think it's possible that the note writers could be responsible, but that was never the actual motive, was to get a ransom?
Well, I think if we go back to just the fundamentals, if they take her out of the house at 2:00 in the morning, they're willing to hurt her. Number one, and we see evidence of that with the blood on the porch. I am of the belief that the blood is not staged. I think it's legit, whatever that means. I still, and this is just my personal opinion, I could be wrong, but I do believe they got her to the threshold, and she either tripped or something happened where you get that aspiration spray right there on the porch. We've kicked that around 1,000 times. One thing that I am curious about, though, is that other marking on there that could be a shoe or it could be any kind of instrument of some sort. Why isn't there more of that? That's really interesting to me, because so it's at that point I would lean more towards maybe they picked her up and they started carrying her. But then when you get down to the sidewalk there, and we all talked about this in our panel, there's a direction change in that blood. So does it go around the house? Where's it go? We don't have that information yet. So I think the notes are kind of an afterthought with this idea of, okay, now we've got to put this into play. But why are you sending them not to the most important news agency and most important piece of this whole puzzle? And that, first of all, it's to the family. And then the second piece of that puzzle would be, why not send it to KVOA, who is Annie or Savannah's like alma mater right there in Tucson. Instead, they go to two separate agencies or news agencies where she's never worked, and then they go to an entertainment company. That doesn't make any sense at all. It's almost like, okay, she's deceased. Now what do we do? I've got an idea. Let's start sending some notes out. Because if you connect the notes directly to KVOA, now you can say, well, isn't that where Savannah worked? But if you send them to the other two news agencies, you go, well, Savannah didn't work there. Why'd they do that? And that's a confusion. That creates confusion, noise. It creates all this noise, and it creates TMZ to drive their ratings up.
I'm not insulting any agencies at all or anything along those lines, but I got to be honest with you. I'm shocked that they're not able to track this person down. Very shocked about that.
As am I.
I mean, it's to me, it's wild. It's wild that they have the entire FBI force, the task force, looking at this, and that they cannot find out who this person is.
Well, it doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it doesn't make sense.
I think they knew and know probably within the first 3 days.
So you think they do know who this person is?
I think they do.
Yeah, but the knowing and proving are two different things, and why you don't want to show your cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
The fact of the matter is that in many of the homicide cases and other crime cases we've worked, we've known very quickly or had a very strong belief, and not merely based on a hunch. But if we don't have enough evidence to get a criminal charge filed, then we're going to sit on that information until we can come up with something to get enough evidence to file a charge. But rapidly looping back to the notes, the thing is that if these were genuine ransom notes, technology is such that they could have provided proof of life with a digital recording. Any of these things could have been done, which tells, since none of these things were done and they didn't send it to the family, they sent it to media sources. I'm in agreement with Bob and Chris. This is nothing more than misdirection. This is David Copperfield asking us to look in one direction while the stage rotates so we no longer see the Statue of Liberty. And apparently it's worked to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think that there's a little bit of possibly some sophistication, but I also think that there's a lot of luck that's been going on for whoever's involved in this crime, especially the guy on the porch who hasn't been identified.
That we know of.
That we know of.
So do you
Right.
think now, now that we know that the second note says that she passed away shortly after being taken, and the first note didn't come out until like a day and a half later after she was last seen or something like that on the early hours of Sunday morning, do you think that she had passed away and they decided to go with this ransom theme and put the notes out after she passed away, even the first one?
I think she died that night.
Yeah, contemporaneous to the removal from the home.
Yeah, I think this whole thing was laid out pretty simply, you know, and the notes, somebody had the role, you know, you're the note writer. Okay. Somebody had the role, you're the driver. Somebody had the role, you know, you're a porch guy.
And it wasn't an accident.
Yeah, it was, and what do we all get out of it now? Is the next question, right? When they get this little conspiracy to commit murder.
Well, let me just jump in real quickly, Chris, to just say, when I say it's not an accident, what occurs to me is that they may have intended to do it a certain way, but she might have died in a different way.
Yeah,
but it doesn't change the fact that the purpose of this event was to eliminate her.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter how she died. The fact of the matter is that when you commit a crime like this, during the commission of the crime, if somebody dies, you're responsible for their death. That's it.
Felony murder rule.
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
I mean, there's no, and you can say, you know what, we didn't mean to kill her. That wasn't the intent. Well, you know, you certainly didn't do her any favors by ripping her out of her home at, 2 a.m. when she has a heart issue, and that, you know, I mean, there's no way of getting around it.
So do you think that note is from the suspects, Josh? The one apologizing for or informing the family that she's dead, and
I think so. I think it is. I think that it's possibly laying ground for, you know, when and if they get caught, and I think that they will. That they're probably saying, look, we didn't mean to do that. We didn't mean to kill her. That wasn't our intention, whether it was or it wasn't. And that they can sort of use that down the road, maybe in court. But while you were away, I was thinking, and I'll let you talk about it really quick. But I was telling these two that I'm just shocked that they haven't been able to find the person sending these notes, and that they're continuously finding or sending them. But it sounds like you think that, and Chris thinks that it's possible that they do know who this is, and that time isn't of the essence because they believe that Nancy is deceased. So they work it slow. That happens too, right?
Yep, it does. And I'll take it a step further. I think it's possible they know who Porch Guy is, and that they're working them, and that we do have a conspiracy, as we've said on our panel many times. I think we all agree that it's at least 2 and perhaps 3 people involved in this. And so if they know who they are and they're getting a line on them, they've got to button them all up. And remember, once you make an arrest, the clock starts ticking. And so,
yeah, it's not like they said, like, time is not of the essence, but so in these situations, especially when somebody goes missing right away, time is of the essence. They're desperate. They're desperately searching.
Look how long it took. Look how long it took to button up Corey Richens. Okay. Took a year.
Sure. No, you're right.
So think about that.
Or the David guy in LA.
Yeah. I mean, there
9
are
months.
countless cases where these investigations have taken a long time to not just identify the suspects, but to put all of the evidence together so you have a good case to take to a prosecutor or a grand jury so that you can get the proper indictment, the proper charges filed. And that's what this is about at this point. I firmly believe that. I think as I've said all along, this is not a cold case. I think they're working suspects. It's possible that they already know who Porch Guy is. And I don't think Porch Guy was eliminated, although that's a possibility. I know a lot of people were opining about that a month or so ago, but I think all of the players are still in play, and I think they're working on it. That's what I believe.
Yeah, and one of the most interesting things on that point that Bob just made, remember it was Nanos who introduced a male and female in the press conference. If you go back into, his press conference where he got frustrated, you guys all want answers. I wish I could answer them all for you. He says, but I don't, maybe we don't have enough for our guy or gal. Remember, he said that. And you got to go back and listen to it very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
He introduced a woman into the conversation. We call that leakage. What? Because you're not, why in the world, if you have this, this thought process that it's a dude, why are you confusing the public by even saying could be a woman? Again, either that or he's just it's a nanoism, the nanos effect is Bob.
We don't know what we know, and we know what we don't know.
Correct. I see what I see, but I'm not seeing what you're seeing, but somehow we're seeing it together. Okay.
Yeah. I remember him saying that too. I remember that kind of standing out. Regarding the Kallela plea, because you guys are all police officers.
Not me.
Well, yeah, except for Josh, but
I fire cannons.
Seriously, have a lot.
We don't allow those kind of haircuts in police work.
That ain't true anymore, Bob.
Well, you're right. Sorry. Sorry, Barb. Go ahead.
That's okay. Is it normal for somebody who's appearing before court, who for whatever charge, and has some kind of a drug addiction? Is it normal for them to be sent off to rehab right out of court?
Yes.
Because it is normal?
I've seen that a million times in federal court and in state court, but
why not just jail?
Court. Yeah.
So I was thinking, are they doing it to try to keep people from talking to him for a number of months?
No,
that's normal.
Yeah, they're sincerely doing it. In this case, I believe that they're sincerely doing it because he obviously has a drug problem, and they're trying to at least get him to the point where when he does go in, if he does go into jail at some point, it's not going to be an issue. So, and it's a responsible thing to do for courts to facilitate that. In most jurisdictions today, there are drug courts, and one of the key tenets of a drug court is to get their client's rehabilitation. And in fact, that is the key tenet in most drug courts. So it's pretty common.
Yeah, I knew somebody that had been arrested probably, I think it was like 13 to 15 times. Every time they were arrested, it was alcohol related. And so because of that, it was drug court and was put on, strict monitoring, and once he got sober, he had no more, he went to a rehab. He went to like a 6-month rehab that was mandated by the court and things like that. And once he was sober, he had no more infractions. Now, I'm not, you can't just say, well, he was an alcoholic, and he was, and that caused his problems. And it did, he's responsible for that ultimately, but there was a correlation there, so, did it behoove the community for that person to get sober and things like that? Well, yes, but it wasn't like sometimes he was drunk, sometimes he wasn't drunk when he would do these stupid things, and they were, I guess, petty. And
courts have gotten soft. I mean,
big time.
We had a judge, a Superior Court judge. His name was Hall.
Raymond Hall.
his nickname was Hang'em Hall. That was his nickname. And if a defendant showed up like with alcohol on their breath or something, he'd say to the, the deputy, she said, do you smell alcohol in his breath? Yeah. Okay. Book him. And they'd haul him right off to the jail right then and there, man. It was not like, Your Honor, I didn't, no, goodbye.
There's a judge that does that now.
Pass go, do not collect $200. Huh?
There's a judge in Texas that does that now. You can actually see him on, he's not on YouTube, but the court has, a lot of their stuff that's public. And
well, that's what blew me away, because
he sends them away right away.
Yeah. I mean, this is like a big deal. I mean, and somehow this guy's standing in the federal courthouse, in the federal courtroom, where all the hallways are marble. Okay. And you're walking into this courtroom and it looks like a cathedral, and you're high as a kite on meth. And you're telling the judge, yeah, I just did some meth, earlier, Your Honor. And the magistrate's going, okay, well, guess what? You're going to go into a treatment program where you're going to sit around, everybody's going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya. And then you're going to come back and check in with your PO. You're going to do your P test, on demand, or every Thursday night at 7, whatever you need. Because they used to come to our agency. All the parolees would come to the front counter. Why are you here, man? Well, I got to go see, Mike Hill. Oh, he's right here. Just a minute. Go here. Here's your cup. And, that's why I'm thinking, maybe there is something more to this. I don't know, but the fact that they sent him off to go sing Kumbaya is really interesting.
Well, it seems to raise eyebrows between all three of you. And, as somebody who's followed cases like this for a while, it doesn't make much sense. I mean, it is one of the lighter sentences, or, one of the lighter punishments for something so serious that I've seen in quite some time. I fully expected him to be sent to jail over this. At least
it's not like somebody,
not prison.
Yeah, it's not like somebody who's gone to the joint. They did their time. They paid their, to society, and part of their terms and stipulation of their parole and or probation is to go to Narcotics Anonymous, and keep up on it. And over years, they get chips. They get a little chip. Okay, I've been sober for 10 years, 11 years, and then they become mentors back to those who are, struggling. Okay, that's a whole different deal. I respect those guys because they did it. And that's a whole different deal than some guy, doing this and then showing up to have the chutzpah to show up in a federal court under the influence of methamphetamine. That's another game there. That's a different game. He's gaming.
One thing.
Go ahead,
Yep. Yeah, I agree. One thing to remember, the federal judge that is going to sentence Mr. Colella, he can reject this plea agreement wholeheartedly. And just because the prosecutor and the defense attorneys have made this agreement doesn't mean that the judge is going to agree to it himself, because it goes to a different judge. It's not the same judge that took the plea agreement. She is a magistrate judge. Colella will be sentenced on September 10th by a federal court judge. And this judge, whether it's a he or she, can look at it and say, I don't agree with this, and it's too lenient. And he would probably, he or she would probably give the defense and the prosecutor a heads up prior to September 10th so that they can try and hammer out a different agreement. But to be honest, that doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen. I've seen it happen many times, but it's not an everyday occurrence. So
yeah, no, I agree with you.
I've got a question, Chris.
Yeah.
What if this wasn't thumbing his nose at the magistrate? What if he'd gotten high deliberately to create the defense that I'm a poor addict and I have no control over my actions.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Yeah. Therefore, I can't be held responsible for attempting to commit extortion. You're dealing with, and on one hand, you're going to say, yes, they are victims of an addiction. And I have personal experience with family members who were addicts.
Yeah, me too.
But they don't at any point, unless they're absolutely crazed on the drugs, not know what they're doing. That's part of used to be called in California the diminished capacity defense.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so loaded, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. No,
which was a riff on temporary insanity. And I'm sorry, I think he may have done this deliberately to try and foster this image of being just a poor drug addict who just out of control and throw myself at the mercy of the court.
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
No, I'm sorry. I just think that with these type of charges, a diminished capacity defense doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell of getting by a judge.
Particularly when you're sending these texts attempting to commit extortion, it's not like you got in a fight or broke a window because you were loaded. You actually went after, Bitcoin.
Right. Or you're charged with murder or aggravated assault or something then.
So let me throw a curveball. You guys know me, unfortunately. Remember, he's hooked up in February?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like lickety split, right? They get him. Okay. He went in the system right away. Boom. You're in front of a federal court. You're in front of a judge in LA. They're writing him up. Guess what? They put him on a bracelet and they put him on monitoring. At that moment, he probably said with his public defender, Your Honor, my guy has a meth problem. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. We're going to set a court date. We're going to set a trial date. Okay. We're going to have all these, pre-trial hearings. You attorneys hash it all out. But until that time, I'm going to expect A, B, C, and D out of Mr. Colella. And if you want him out on an OR, then we're going to put him on an ankle bracelet, and he's going to be checking into probation on E, F, and G twice a week till he gets to his service. Okay. What about all those reports? Where are they? Because up until he comes to Phoenix, guess what? He's still high as a kite, standing in front of the courthouse. So what did they do in between the time he got arrested and the time he appeared to the federal magistrate? I want to know what those documents say.
Well, when he made his initial appearance, he was assigned a U.S. probation officer.
Bingo.
And that probation officer has the responsibility of drug testing and making sure that the drug testing is done, placing the ankle monitor on him to make sure he doesn't flee the jurisdiction.
Bingo.
And basically to babysit him as best one can while he's out on bond on these charges. So,
yeah, I mean, his mother would go up there and plead for him and say, my son is a drug addict. My son is so useless. He's as useless as a comb at Bob's house.
Okay, wait a minute. Good one. Okay. All right. And here's the other curveball. You don't think Kash Patel said, I want to know what time this guy farts?
Yeah.
Every single day. Because my name's on this thing. The president of the United States, who, chimed in, Donut Boy, a senator, and we're to think that this probation officer, this federal probation officer, right, hypothetically, well, we're kind of keeping an eye on him. No, this guy was under the 24/7 radar. What are you doing tomorrow? What's happening? What's happening on Sunday? What's happening on Monday? Where are you at on Tuesday? you can betcha this guy does not show up into federal court and say, Your Honor, I'm high as a kite on
Yeah. So we
methamphetamine.
just going to take his word for that?
That's right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
You bet there's a laundry list of, okay, he did this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and by the way, who's monitoring that GPS? Because I know the companies that do it, and you can bet that PO is getting a printout of this guy going
Daily.
going to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Okay. Unless you put the monitor on his dog, and I've seen that done too.
Yeah.
Well, but if you
have seen
you guys know this.
They cut them off and put them on their dogs. Go ahead.
But any attempt to do that, it will register, and there's an
Oh
alarm.
yeah,
that
I
goes
know,
off,
but I'm
and the
just saying.
probation officer
As a hypothetical.
will know that. Yeah, I know you guys know that, but just for the audience sake,
it's crazy though.
Yeah, so they'll know, and but yeah, they had him. No pun intended, but they had him on a tight leash. I would agree with that, and I do agree that.
So where's he getting the meth?
Oh, well,
where's he buying the meth? They have to watch him go cop the dope.
Well, don't you think that could all be part of it?
Somebody did it for him. Somebody brought it to him.
Yeah, the equivalent of DoorDash.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting.
But if he's high as a kite, 11,550, 4 days before he goes to court, there's a track record 60 days before he goes to court. And so are they missing, the bouncing ball here or something going on, that, hey, here you are, or is he going out with a number and doing his thing, if you know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, that's great. That's
yeah.
We'll talk deeply about that tomorrow.
Yeah. And let's see. We'll take a couple more calls and then we'll wrap it up here. Let's try Jennifer. Let's go again one more time. Jennifer, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, she's there, guys. Jennifer's there.
Great.
Right.
You can hear me. Oh my gosh.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Sorry.
No echo, anything.
Is it too loud?
Mm-mm.
Okay. You're great.
Oh my gosh. You guys don't even know. Poor connection. I don't know. Now I'm on my phone doing this on my iPad. Anyway, not important. Hi guys. I'm just so happy to see you as usual.
How are you?
And I have two things I wanted to bring up. And one was the two angry men this afternoon with the Garagos and Harvey. I was kind of like flabbergasted that they were saying what they were saying, because I don't know. I wanted to know what you guys thought, and I know that like you kind of said something, but I was like in between internet disconnection. Yeah. So if you don't want to say anything about it.
Well, let me say this really quick, Jennifer. I was the part where I kind of got I wouldn't say annoyed, but I was like, was when Harvey said that somebody from the FBI told him that they think that this could possibly be a woman. Why would the FBI tell him that?
They wouldn't tell him anything. I don't believe that for 1 minute.
But I agree with you. I don't believe it either. That's what he said, though. That's what that's what he said. He said it.
Yeah. I'm not. This isn't defending nonads, but like, just in the world we live in today, and to be PC about everything, like, I don't know if it was actual leakage or if it was just like he should say him or her. It's like, are you they, them, the her, she, him? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think he's that thoughtful, to be honest with you.
So, I mean, I hear you guys when you're saying that was probably leakage, because it's him, but it kind of, PC, Okay. So the other thing, unless you guys, anybody else want to say something about that interview? I don't know what powwow they had. I mean, I don't know what to call it. It was very weird to me. I was like, are they really saying this on for real? Anyway.
Well, I like the way you're thinking, but I kind of disagree with the thought process that somebody from the feds wouldn't leak it. And the only reason I say that is this. Ashley Bamfield went out on a limb in the very beginning of this thing as a journalist
She does.
she said what she said. But who was her sources? The 3-letter agency. It wasn't Pima County Sheriff's Office. Okay. And then what was the next tit for tat after that? Right? The lab. The fight about the lab.
Yeah.
Where'd
Right.
it go? Okay.
Florida. Right.
Right. Okay. And then it's almost like watching a tennis match. And this is one of the things we did, as you probably remember, Jennifer, we did a program like a week after this thing went down. And the two things we were worried about were 2 trains leaving the station at the same time. I gave the analogy of 2 trains, the FBI train and the Pima County Sheriff's Office train. Okay. And we said in the very beginning, if this is a homicide, there is no way a guy like Nonads is going to let go of this case. It's not going to happen. Right? No matter what everybody says, if it's a murder and it's a murder for hire, unless there is a federal nexus link of some sort, and I'm not talking about some guy throwing out extortion notes. I'm talking about a link to that murder in that county. And so far, there hasn't been any. In fact, if we just look at the last interview Nonads just did, he said this is a local case. If you just heard what Kash Patel just said, it's a local case. We're in a support role. So though that's a clarity of focus in this investigation. All this other stuff, people saying and doing or whatever, that's all noise. That's all noise because there's no way Nanos is going to let this thing go. So now when we think about this, take it another step forward, okay? Who was the person that released the porch video?
The FBI.
Kash Patel did it on Twitter. What?
Sorry.
What?
Is this real? Like, I'm like thinking, is this real life?
Well, yes, good point. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, let me get this right. You have a picture, a video of this guy? Yeah. Okay, well, let's all get in the same room and have a press conference like we just had with the director, or excuse me, with the head FBI guy from Phoenix. Okay. And guess what? That didn't happen. Kash Patel says, tweet, here's your guy. And Nanos goes, oh, okay, I see how we're doing this. We're playing games.
Do you think, any of you, do you think that was a mistake to do that? I mean, I would think that it would be.
No, I thought it was very effective.
Yeah, advantageous, right?
Yeah.
Like because I always imagine, and I remember seeing it for the very first time going, holy crap. Like first of all, that's terrifying to see that, there's somebody on the front porch like that. Second of all, the person that's on that front porch is probably going, oh crap.
Okay, forget that piece, right? Because that's what everybody's focused on. But here's what's happening behind the scene. Okay, diddling, Nanos. Hey, Sheriff. Yeah. Did you see Twitter? What? Did you see Twitter? No. What is it? What's going on? Go check your Twitter feed. That son of a gun. That son of a gun.
It's so passive aggressive, honestly, but
right? Because that's what happened behind the scenes. I don't Nanos had no idea that was coming.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I think this is yet another reason why the U.S. Attorney's Office is going to assert jurisdiction at some point and prosecute this case.
How can they do that, Bob?
Well, it just depends. Is Colella connected?
Oh, if he is, yeah, they own it.
Yeah.
But if he's not, how do they connect it?
And there's probably some other, and I can't tell you exactly how they're going to do it absent the Colella connection. But there is a good, and I've said this many times before, there's a good reason why the U.S. Attorney's Office was doing a survey of the home with the FBI agents and those detectives.
I agree with you.
Yeah, but kidnapping for ransom is a federal crime.
But I also, yes, it is, but they have not asserted jurisdiction yet. But I'm saying, and you got to parse these two. Is this a local case for investigative purposes, or is this a local case for prosecution, or both? We don't know yet, and they haven't said. But I don't think for 1 minute that this U.S. Attorney's Office is going to allow Conover to prosecute this case. If they can possibly assert jurisdiction, they're going to take it.
And it's going to be one heck of a fight. And here's the reason I say that.
Yeah.
Because if they find the body, the feds are out.
Well, depends on where they find it. If they find it in Mexico, they're in.
Yeah, I agree.
Or out of state.
Or Indian land. If they find it on Indian land, they own it.
That's
or
right.
a military reservation.
Right.
But if it's in the desert and, a citizen runs across, her body, Sheriff Nanos is going to put a flag in the ground and say, my county, my body, my house, my department, my DA. And I agree with you. It'd be a huge mistake, in my opinion. I agree with you 1,000%. Huge mistake. But just like the FBI wanted in, and what did he do? He said no. And then 4 days later, he realized this thing got out of control, and he said, okay, yes, come on in. Okay. But I don't see him, just stepping up and saying, hey, we're working together. We're still playing, I think there's an appearance of that, and he projects that really well. But actually, I don't think he projects that really well. I think it's a
kind of, sort of. Well, if you saw it, and then I see it later, we saw it.
Exactly. But I think he tries to project that, and I think there's a lot of wishful thinking that he's going to go along and play. Okay.
That was like a Michael Jackson moonwalk.
We've seen this. We have been through this in our agency. I mean, Leticia Hernandez was a perfect example.
Right.
The feds came in and said, we want it. And our department said, absolutely. And guess what? It went to heck in a handbasket because their standards are much higher than the state court standards to get a conviction. The feds want everything 100%.
Well, not only that, and this, I'm not taking any shots at anybody here, but in that case, a federal judge made a horrible ruling.
Yeah, he threw out the DNA.
He certainly did. I mean, and it was sickening, to be honest.
That would have never happened in a state court, and that guy to this day is still walking on the streets.
And not only that, it shouldn't.
Federal problem.
It wouldn't have happened in a state court. It shouldn't have happened in a federal court either. It should not have happened at all.
This little girl right here, we knew who did it. And we put a case together, and the feds wanted it so bad, and they screwed it up.
We knew the night it happened who did it. Because remember, Joyce was called in to go through the SA offender files, and Jim Sandifer was talking to the guy that night.
And don't get me wrong, this is just my personal experience. I'm sorry. Okay, I have 100 great FBI friends. I work with Greg Cooper every single day. We've been friends almost 40 years. Okay, trust me, I get along with all of them. Okay, however, there are times when you just got to keep your mouth shut and let the process work for itself. Okay, because too many egos in the room create problems like this. This little girl was kidnapped December 16th, 1989 in her front yard. And guess what? Her case is still unsolved.
But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
I mean, it's not unsolved in our opinion. John and I were there. We worked it. Okay. But when they came in, I can't tell you how many FBI agents I went and canvassed homes with. I can't tell you how many times I went out to Buckman Springs with FBI agents, and they had all the knowledge, all the information. And I'm like, this guy's a doofus. Well, what's your degree in? Oh, I'm an accountant. Oh, well, no wonder. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Goodbye.
That was your first homicide case, correct?
That was the very first one.
That was the very first one. Yeah, what a terrible.
Right. And so that left the mark. Let's just put it there.
Could understand that.
Okay. And by the way, I also had the very first federal carjacking in the United States in California when they made carjacking a federal crime. I had the very first suspect in custody in California. I've got the commendation right here. Okay. I had the very first case in San Diego County. Guess what? The phone rang to my boss, Suspenders. Hey, can we have that case here down on the federal court here? Really? Why? Well, it's a federal crime now, and we would love to make an example out of this guy. Okay, sure. Yeah, here. Anyway, well, that's another story, another day. But so do I mistrust sometimes? Yeah, I do. I do. Why? Because I've learned by sad experience that it's the nature and disposition of almost all men. As soon as they get a little authority, they will immediately begin to exercise unrighteous dominion. That's my opinion. And I push back on that on, former FBI agents or, whoever they are. I push back because you know what? Sometimes they talk out of this year and this year, but they never use this thing. And that's the problem.
Well, and I take your point. I think it's a good one. But I also know some local detectives that have done far worse and screwed up cases right and left, just like FBI. But getting back to the prosecution of what I think is going to be a murder case eventually in Guthrie is what kind of relation does Laura Conover have with Chris Nanos? And we really don't know. Laura Conover, my understanding, has never tried a murder case. And so I just think that it's highly likely, not just a possibility, but I think it's highly likely that the feds are going to find a way to take this case.
And that's the problem.
I hope they do.
But that's the problem. Your verbiage right there is really important to pay attention to. Find a way.
Yeah.
Okay. That is the problem with the FBI because it's only one way.
Yeah, but who do we trust?
That's not the FBI's decision.
Yeah, but who do we trust more?
Attorney's office
If
decision.
the FBI's got to present the case to a U.S. attorney, they have to.
The FBI doesn't blink without talking to the U.S. Attorney's office on a criminal case. Yeah.
And so behind the scenes, I'll give you another example. Just recently, and I keep going back to this one, but unfortunately I have to. Okay. Literally, Fruitland Police Department was told, don't have the Cold Case Foundation come into this. They're going to write books. That's all they want to do. Quote, from an FBI agent, the case agent working with Fruitland Police Department. I'm sitting there with the chief of police, J.D. Huff, on a missing 5-year-old little boy. And he goes, are you guys here to write books? I said, what? Are you guys here to write books? I said, who told you that? He goes, well, the FBI. I said, you guys, or the only reason you want to get in is you're interested in writing books. I said, are you serious? He goes, yeah, I'm serious. I said, no, I'm not interested in writing books. Okay, you guys got a shot. Guess what? The FBI's opinion, the little boy is a walk away. Were they right or wrong?
They were wrong.
They were very wrong. In fact, we identified 4 suspects alongside the Fruitland Police Department, and they arrested one of them. He was just bound over for murder of Michael Vaughn. Guess who didn't do that? The FBI. They left that family hanging for 1.5 years, and they left. They walked away because they had decided they were right. All the time, that's how it always works.
But
we're going to make sure we're right 1,000%. So it's a one-way street with the fan belt inspectors. And that's how it always is.
But
John, am I wrong? Is it a one-way street?
I have never received meaningful assistance from the FBI.
Jim
And
Clemente, let me talk about Jim Clemente. That guy did a profile on a national CBS television show that said Burke Ramsey killed his sister with a flashlight. That guy has lived with that shadow for 39 years.
You're talking about Burke?
30 years, Burke. Right.
They're still talking about it was him, it was him, it was him, it was him.
Guess what? The family sued CBS. And the family won millions. And guess what? Jim Clemente to this day won't say, I'm sorry and I was wrong. So I'll call you out, Jim. You're going to watch this. Tell the family you're sorry that you made a mistake. You're FBI. Let's see if you can do it.
So when Harvey comes to the microphone and he goes, the FBI just basically made a big oopsies. We forgot to cover that part of the case when it came to the Bitcoin trap, right? Of like, oh, they put a little bit of money in the Bitcoin to see if they would get any bites. Like, I don't remember word for word, but anyway, Harvey ended up saying like the FBI just made a big oopsies and look what happened. Everything is falling apart. And it's like Harvey was very much like, I know what's going on. I solved the case, I swear. But anyway, I'll get off Harvey for a second. I never watch him. And it's so weird that I did today. And I was just like, oh my goodness.
Well, you caught a doozy. Really quick, and then we have to move on. And Chris, I think, and Bob, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that the reason, and I'm kind of with you on this, and I know, Chris, that you guys have had bad interactions with the FBI and also good ones.
Yes.
But at this point, who has faith in Pima County?
Nobody.
That's what I'm saying. Is that your point? Is that your point, Bob?
Part of it, but
not Pima County, Nanos.
Right, Nanos, exactly.
Nanos, because there are people working really hard in Pima County. I don't want to discredit.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But let me just say this: there are, I don't know, I'm probably going to get this wrong, but I think there's around 15,000 FBI agents in the Bureau. And so I'm not going to bash the entire FBI for the actions of a few, just like I wouldn't bash LAPD for the actions of a couple of detectives or a couple of cops. And I'm not saying LAPD did anything wrong. I'm just using them as an example. I wouldn't bash my own former department in Denver, Colorado, for the actions of a couple of cops that I know were terrible and were bad and got hemmed up for it. So I'm not going to ridicule the entire department for that. And same thing with the FBI. With respect to the Guthrie case, I do have faith that that they're doing a good job here. I have no reason to believe that they're not doing a good job. Just because we don't have suspects in custody right now does not mean that those agents and those detectives aren't doing a good job. Somebody in the chat saying there's 56,000 agents. I don't believe that that's correct. Wow. I think there are 56,000 FBI employees, not agents.
Right.
I need to cut you off for 1 second, guys, because I do want to just point out this one thing so that I can let you go. I have been watching this case, with you guys the entire time. And there's just one thing that keeps bothering me about Miss Nancy, to begin, in her last moments, or that she was in her home. It has been reported, I believe, I've heard it multiple times, that she didn't actually take her nighttime medication. And that, I'm a medication taker, okay? If I don't take my medication at night, and and I go to sleep without it, it's sort of like it's part of a routine, so I'm just wondering. It's nothing. I'm not looking for an answer. I just kind of wanted to throw it out there that I find that maybe things were, I don't know what happened, but like if she did not take her PM medication, maybe that she was invaded upon earlier than they think.
I mean, completely. I guess it's possible, but I don't know. I mean, who knows? Who knows what the timeline really is? Because there's that, what is it? That 40-something minute window, and who knows where they were or what they were doing.
And where does the information originate regarding her not having taken her nighttime meds? The reason why I mean, do we know that for a fact? Has any law enforcement source said that? I'm a
I wish
medication
I
taker.
took notes, but I've heard it more than 5 times in
I'm a
I've heard it more than
medication
5 times.
taker too, and if I didn't take my meds at night, how would you know? Because I mean, unless you have one of those boxes,
I do. I
Sunday,
have AM,
Monday,
PM pills.
Tuesday, those are way too much work.
John, lobotomy is not medication.
I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy.
All right. Well, Jennifer, we got to move on, and thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank
your
you,
call.
guys.
Thank you,
Happy
Jennifer.
4th of July.
All right.
Thanks.
So we're going to take,
and for the record, Josh, I'm not bashing all FBI agents.
Chris, you can say whatever you want.
No, I know I can. I'm gonna.
I know you are, and you do.
I don't need permission. Trust me.
I'm not giving it to you.
Because if you continue to bottle it in, Chris, you'll end up with a heart attack. Or
That's
no.
right. Then you'll need more medication, so you don't want to do that.
You'll need a
Exactly right.
lobotomy.
A lot of it. I'm just measuring off of my personal experience working closely with the feds. That's it. I mean, somebody asked me just on your show the other recently. They said, "Well, what do you know about working with the feds?" And what they forget is we had the largest military installation in the United States for the Marines. We had 50,000 Marines. We had CID, NCIS, FBI, and the list goes on. Border Patrol, Coast Guard, they're all federal agencies. We worked with them all the time. And guess what? There were some real zeros. And you just go, where'd that come from? And now, were there some 100%ers? Of course there were. And those are the kind of guys that you want to high five and kick in and say, hey, have a great day. And let me give you a simple example. I had a double homicide at the Motel 6. Remember the 2 Marines, Johnny, that got executed by the father of the girlfriend that they had in the room? Anyway, the suspect fled. He was a Marine, fled to 29 Palms. He went on the base. We got a lead that he was up there through his command. And I said, great. Then my phone rings. Hey, we got your guy in custody up here. I said, super. Don't read a Miranda, which is Article 32 in the military. And we're on our way up. Okay. So we go up there. And this is where it's important to know the rules. We get up there, there's CID, NCIS, and a Fed. And a captain in the Marine Corps. He says, yeah, we've got him over here in the holding cell. Do you have a warrant? We go, no. Well, you can't take him off the base then. You need a warrant. We're like, well, no, I don't need a warrant. I do on camp penalty. I need an Article 4 to get him off the base. But here, guess what? I got this guy over here, and I had a San Bernardino sheriff there who was a lieutenant. And he goes, well, what are you going to do? And I looked at the lieutenant and I said, who are you? And he goes, well, I'm FBI. I said, well, maybe you don't know the rules. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, the property that this base is on, is owned by the county, San Bernardino County. I don't need a warrant. You want to turn him over to me? And the guy goes, what are you talking about? I said, maybe you should get on the phone and call your JAG and find out who owns the land that 29 Palms is on. It's owned by San Bernardino County. And they lease it. The federal government leases it from the county. So guess what? We own it, i.e. the state.
Yeah.
State
And on
authority.
my badge, it says State of California. Bring the prisoner out.
And he goes, well, you're not taking him. I said, fine. I looked at the lieutenant. I said, hook him up, take him with us. We'll take them all for 148. And he goes, what's that? I said, call your JAG and find out, Captain, because you're the officer of the day. You're about ready to go to jail. He turns around and goes back in, gets on the phone. He walks out with the prisoner and say, here, you guys go. Take him. And guess what? That's knowing the rules. That's knowing how the game is played. And just because you have, 3 little letters after your name, well, guess what? Sometimes you don't know how to play tennis. Don't get hit in the head with the ball. That's how it works sometimes.
Yeah.
So just for the record, there are 13,700 FBI agents currently. This comes from the Department of Justice website, and there are 38,100 FBI employees. So
got it.
There you go.
Right.
And
We're
there's
going to take
38,000 state law enforcement officers.
We're going to take a couple more quick calls and then we'll be done here. But people have been waiting, so I want to get to them. Oceanside lady, go ahead.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Sure can.
yes,
Just fine.
I was on hold earlier, but then I had to hang up and go with all my little neighbors down to the end of the road and watch the Camp Del Mar fireworks.
cool.
Happy
Lucky.
4th of July to all of you.
Happy 4th of July to you. too.
4th to you.
Happy birthday.
So I have something to say. When I was young in Oceanside, we were told not to hang out with the La Costa people because they were the mob. And and then we were, by association, different things were known, and Tucson was considered a mob retirement area.
Yeah, it was the Bonanno family.
Yeah, and I'm still convinced that this particular thing, even though it could be someone close to her, was still maybe driven financially by the mob. And also, I am also considering at this point, with all of the politics and everything, how deep into the pockets of these people are these two politicians, Nanos and this lady, I forgot her last name, Laura
Conover.
Conover.
She's the prosecutor in Pima County.
Because it just seems to me like they're just really willing to just turn the other cheek on everything. And other than that, that's all I had to say.
Well, I appreciate
Just
your
dropped a
phone call.
bomb, a firework.
Well, we appreciate your phone. And Oceanside lady, I thank you for calling in. I know you've called in before, and we really do appreciate it. So enjoy the rest of your 4th of July, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Well, there were some mobsters that lived in La Costa.
Oh,
I used to
yeah.
own a home. I owned a home in La Costa, and and there were some mobsters there, for sure.
I'm
They
watching
lived
the
in
I'm watching The
Springs.
Sopranos again.
They lived in Palm
It's too
Springs
good.
and Indian Wells too.
Yep, they
And,
sure did.
It was well known the burglars did not operate in Indian Wells, as one burglar explained to me. He says, if you catch me stealing a TV or a microwave from a house in Thermal, what's the worst that happens to me? I do a year county. If I pick the wrong house in Indian Wells, Vito and Giuseppe will take me out in the desert, put a bullet in the back of my head and bury me, maybe. So it was known.
No question.
Josh, check your text.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'll put it up.
But that doesn't mean I think that the mob's involved in this.
You trying to
No.
start?
Yeah, I don't
You
either.
trying to start a fire in the chat?
No,
Okay.
just trying to
Hold on.
measure my
Oh,
position.
I get it. Hold on.
So where's that 5-gallon cask of gasoline?
It's right here.
It'll be here in a minute.
It's right here.
This guy also betrayed me
Here it
and
is.
the country. So I rest my case. I've run in those circles. I was the liaison to major county sheriffs, major city chiefs, Asia. I ran in all those circles with every one of them, and put him back up. This guy's a traitor to the United States law enforcement community. There's no question about it in my mind. And I stood next to him in this picture. Nobody can preach to me about how the FBI is such great, doing all kinds of amazing things. I get it. They are, yes. But there are also people that don't know what they're doing and they do it for the wrong reason. End of story.
All right.
Just like any other group of people.
Yeah,
whether
but
it's law enforcement
you
or
don't.
not.
We don't have a picture of Daryl Gates like that.
Yeah, that's right. But Comey wasn't even a cop. He was an attorney, and
You're making my point.
yeah, he never carried a gun unless he had a concealed carry permit. He didn't have law enforcement training. He was an attorney. So
There you go.
All right. Couple more calls here. Janet, go ahead.
Hey, happy 4th of July, everybody.
hi,
Happy
Janet.
4th of July. Janet's the DB Cooper jumper.
Oh, no. Really quick, something that came to my attention. Linguistically, if two L's are usually pronounced like a Y, wouldn't Derek's last name be Koyaya?
Hopefully.
That's a question. That's a question for John.
You're probably right. But
then how would you say it then, John?
well, I would just continue to mangle it the way I've always mangled it deliberately by going kalala. Kalala.
That's my
Sounded
favorite.
like I got a mouthful of cat food.
That's my favorite. I don't know why.
Mouthful of cat.
Just love when he says it. Is that
Well,
it, Janet?
Yeah, I think Yaya generally means attention seeking. So I just kind of thought it was just a fitting spin on the whole name thing. Yaya. So with that, thanks so much for entertaining my call. Have a
All
wonderful
right.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Take care. All right, we got one more. Zelda, go ahead. Zelda, where are you calling from?
Hello, I am calling from the great state of Georgia. How are you gentlemen this evening?
Yay.
Good.
Great.
Are you a
Good.
Braves fan?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Terrible. It's a terrible
Well,
thing.
well, I'm a fan of wherever I live. It used to be that I would be a fan of whatever color of the uniform looked better on me. So that's how I used to measure that. So there we go.
That makes sense.
So, but happy 4th of July.
Happy
Let
4th.
freedom ring. And I just want to let you know that I have learned so much from your show. I enjoy all of you so much. But I have a tinfoil hat question. Early on.
Bob's going to love this.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm constantly getting my tinfoil hat out here with poor
Bob needs
Mrs.
one
Guthrie.
to cover up his bald head.
It's okay. We all have one.
well, early on in this investigation, we were all told, I think it was a family member, but at this point, I don't even know what was said by whom, where, when, and how, but that Nancy Guthrie left her doors open at night. Now, I think that that's pretty strange for an 84-year-old woman. However, one thing I've not heard anybody talk about is we talk about the porch guy, we talk about all this and whatever. How did these perpetrators get into Nancy's house? How did they get in? Was there any sign of forced entry? How did that happen? And was that whole rhetoric of, well, Nancy leaves her doors open at night, was that to cover something? Was that, that's where my mind goes immediately. So that's my question. Have we heard how the perps got into her home?
Not
No,
really.
they haven't. I think the investigators know, but we haven't been told, and probably rightfully so.
Savannah says that it was the back.
But I don't think I don't put a lot of credence in this idea that she left her doors open for a couple of reasons. Number one, critters can walk right in the house, but more importantly, even in Tucson, in late January and early February, it's pretty cold out, and I just don't see that, especially for an 84-year-old woman to do that.
I think I said that incorrectly. I meant when I said doors open, I mean unlocked. Is what they were saying in the beginning. But I can't see that. And if the doors were propped open during that, whatever, 41-minute, 56-minute lag time that we had the next day, I think not only would I be looking for my mother, I would be looking for critters and animals and everything else that possibly could come in. I don't know. I'm just
personally, really quick, in that neighborhood, I could see people leaving their door unlocked, their back door. I just could. I mean, it just doesn't surprise me.
Why would that be?
Well, but why? If the
Safe
family
neighborhood.
if the family had some type of garage door opener or a key, why would they feel it necessary, or why would she feel it necessary to have her door unlocked, her back door unlocked? And that's what really bothers me, plus the Nest cameras on the inside. For me personally, I feel if they've got camera footage from the outside, where's the camera footage from the inside? Do they have even some images from the inside? And at this point, I have to even ask, how do we even know that Nancy was taken? Of all this, how do we even know all that? I mean, she's missing, granted.
Well, it's what law enforcement is what law enforcement has stated that their theory is.
You mean, how do we know that she was taken from the house? Is that what you mean?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's what the family has told law enforcement, and perhaps they have evidence to corroborate that. So that's what, as Josh mentioned, that's what law enforcement has said. So that's what
you don't think that somebody in a neighborhood like that that's lived there 50 years or 40 years might occasionally or often not lock their back doors?
How would the offender know that, Josh?
That's right. How would anyone ever know?
That's a different.
Well, no, but it figures in as far as point of entry is concerned. If there appear to be, and we're basing this on supposition, no signs of attempted forced entry, why would they have gone to the back door? I mean, I'm not saying that it isn't, that the idea of her leaving the door unlocked is an impossibility. But, I've also got to presume, just based on Chris's video footage from that park, which isn't that far away, I'd be keeping my back door locked.
Well, of course. Right. I mean, that's the sensible thing to do. That doesn't mean that everybody does it, though.
No, that's right. But I have another.
And it doesn't mean that every criminal props the door open.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I have another question, because the day before Nancy, and it may even been the day of, but at least the day before Nancy went missing, there's a picture of her playing the Ma Huang with her buddies, right? The church ladies. Every time I say church ladies, I think of Saturday Night Live. I sorry, I can't hear.
Isn't
I
that
can't,
special?
right? I can't even think of that. But she had a very, very large bandage on her right forearm. And and now I'm never going to get over this. Now I can see you all laughing, but she had a large bandage on her right forearm. And then someone said, well, I think it was Miss Karen, when she spoke with the one buddy church lady, that somebody, I can't even remember. I've heard so much that she wanted to walk down to the mailbox, and she wanted to have, she had to have one of her friends do it. Well, what's to say she didn't hurt her arm that day and she bled on the front entryway?
That's a great point. She could have been, because remember, her friend did, right? There's information that her friend escorted her to the mailbox to get her mail. That's a great point. Now, I think the only thing we would have to know more about is the coloration of that blood, because, typically with the heat and all this other stuff, it's going to coagulate pretty quickly. And that blood that's on the porch there, was probably more consistent with the cold evening, which would have, kept it a little bit dense versus it, catching up real fast. So you would have expected. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm so sorry. I'm excited to talk to all of you.
We love it.
It's like, oh my gosh.
You're awesome. Keep going.
Well,
love it.
I gotta say this is because when I first saw that, my first thought was, okay, they're making a big deal. First of all, Matt, I think, is still there. Why didn't they take the Matt into evidence? I have no idea. But
we're all with you on that one.
Who
right?
we have to ask.
Right. But
Just saying.
There are no shoe prints in the blood. Now, if they took Nancy out after 2:00 in the morning, it's all darker than dang it there. And they're certainly not going to tiptoe around any blood spatters.
That's right.
So that is the only thing. When I looked at those pictures, I thought, maybe Nancy bumped her arm, because you saw how blue her poor little arms are from, and that's what happens. It wouldn't take much. At first, I thought it was from her nose, and you know what? It still could be. But I'm wondering, did that happen the day before and she just didn't have a chance to get out there and take care of it? And that's my only question, so
there doesn't appear to be blood visible in the video of Porch Guy.
Yeah.
So
right.
That's what I would think, is that kind of gives us a timetable that if there's no blood visible as he's making an approach to the door, so it likely, in my mind, occurred after that point.
That makes sense. So thank you. You answered that question for me. That makes sense. That really makes sense. That's why I call the experts. I'm just guessing at this point. But I wanted to make just a little comment. And my mother, probably 40 years ago, was the first female private investigator in the state of Tennessee in a particular county. I will not give, because I don't want people, she's passed away now, but she had to have a secondary go on and sign with her, and it was me. But listen, I didn't get to have a lot of fun. We were just chasing cheaters. That's all we were doing, was chasing cheaters. But it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. And I've got a little bit of that in my blood. But I want to thank you, gentlemen, for taking my call and answering these questions, because there are still so many things, timelines. I am down to the point now where I know enough to know that I don't know enough anymore.
That sounds
So
like that's a nanosism.
that's
right
a
there.
nanoism.
It's a
You can
nanoism.
use that one. You can use
like
that one if you like.
I like that one. That's a good one.
I know enough to
good.
know that I don't know enough. Right. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
All right,
I enjoy your show.
Thank you,
Thank you
young lady.
again.
Awesome.
Have a good
All
evening.
right. Y'all take care.
Happy birthday.
All
Happy
right.
birthday to you. Let freedom ring.
All
Bye for
right.
now.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.
Yeah, great calls tonight. We just got a couple of these. I'll read them really quick. I listen to you all the time. I listen to y'all all the time. I've been wanting to ask if you think people talking about this may give future criminals ideas. Look, maybe, but I mean, they've made crime movies forever, and crime, they Dateline has how many, episodes, and so I mean,
Forensic Files, and
yeah,
I mean,
exactly. It's all out
yeah.
there. There's a difference between getting ideas and pulling it off. I mean, there's a huge difference there. So, I mean, I don't know anything to that, you guys. I mean, I don't think it matters at this point anymore. There's so much of it everywhere. And Tammy, thank you for that. Any idea why Kalalala would get such an easy deal, considering he was charged with stealing unemployment benefits last October? Well, we talked about that at the beginning of the show. And if you go back and listen, we talk about it quite a bit, and these guys definitely have a lot of theories on that as well. We did cover it at length. So, guys, it's been 3 hours. It's been fun hanging out with you guys for the 4th of July. I appreciate you guys always. Any parting words? Chris, what time's your show tomorrow? Tell us.
Same time every Sunday.
Same time every Sunday. Yep. And so is it posted already?
Nope.
Okay, so when it gets posted, if you guys haven't, you can go and click the notification bells. That way you don't miss anything when it drops. And John, tell us what you got going on with your book. When's it? I'm waiting for that book. Where's it at?
Well, actually, I've just received the final version of Bring Out Your Dead, which I now have to go over yet another time so that they can print a galley copy, which will be sent to me so that I can go over that another time. And it is a time-consuming process, but on the other hand, the last thing you want is a book going out with errors in it. And the industry standard allows for like 5% errors, which is an insane number. And I'm certain you've got people in chat here who've read books who find errors. So that's what I'm doing. I'm hoping that the book will be available in late July. The other two books, Service with a Sneer and Beach Blanket Bedlam, are available on Amazon. And actually, we're looking forward to the following weekend, because your three amigos here are going to be in San Diego for a memorial service for a really great cop. And so I'll be back in San Diego for the first time in over 10 years.
Wow, yeah, that's well, it's a wonderful time of year there. It's beautiful weather, and it's sorry that you have to go there for that reason, but
Look, he had a stroke and he had been in bad shape for a long time. So in one sense, it was a blessing.
Sure.
But it's been a delight to be here. I want to thank you and your mods and your chat. It's always great fun to be here.
We have great mods here, and we got great chat, and just wonderful support, wonderful callers, wonderful questions, and I enjoy the back and forth. I enjoy people contesting each other. It makes for such a boring show if everybody agrees on everything. I honestly, it really does. I love when people mix it up, man. I really
No,
do.
you're right. Otherwise, it becomes groupthink. And I don't think
I hate
anybody
that.
wants to listen to groupthink,
Yeah,
right?
I can't stand that stuff.
You're right, Bob. You're always right.
Yeah, Bob, you're right.
You're right, Bob.
Don't forget it either.
Yeah, you're always right. You're right too, Chris. You're right, Josh.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody's right. And
I'm
so
a clone, but I'm not alone.
and Bob, I want to thank you very much. I appreciate your time and your expertise. You know, you're
Thank
bald,
you.
but you're smart.
Thanks, Josh. Just remember, I don't get mad; I get even. So
I understand. I'm sure I got more coming. I got it coming. So, but
John, Chris, good to be with you guys
Good to
and
see you,
everybody
buddy.
in the chat and your
Always
mods.
dinner at Norte.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to you guys off camera. I got a little situation going. But I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, maybe before the show.
Sounds great. That sounds great. Because I need carne asada burrito because Shenandoah Valley's got some great barbecue, but you cannot get carne asada burritos here.
They're so
well, you
good,
can, but they aren't really.
When's the last time you had one?
2015.
Oh, wow. You're going to run to the border, man.
Well, there's going to be a carne asada burrito, and there's going to be a visit to In-N-Out.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I'll be standing
Fortunately,
next to
we have In-N-Out in Boise now, so
they're making their way. They're making their way east.
Yeah.
I think.
It's in Nashville now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're making their way.
Well, that's where
east.
they're headquartered now. They moved they moved the headquarters out of California.
I wonder why.
And Andrea, John does not want to go back to Cali, but thanks for the thought.
But John, but he is. Well, and Chris, thank you. I appreciate you so much, Chris, for hanging out and
Absolutely.
Always love your perspective. Love talking with you, and it's always fun. We've been doing this for a long time, and I look forward to doing it more and more. And
Absolutely.
Also, Karen's just been killing it, with her things that she's doing. She's
Smart
a
girl.
smart, fun to listen to. She's way too pretty for you, but
Too much.
What are you
Too
gonna
much
do?
to handle.
She's good stuff.
Brains of the operations. And remember, when you're at the end of a rope, you tie a knot and you hang on. When it starts raining, you walk between the raindrops.
That show with her and Anjanette Levy was fantastic. I mean, it was really good.
Karen's, she's brilliant. She knows the game. She's been around.
Yeah,
been around.
She's
and she's been through a lot with me. I'm teasing. That's a joke, but I'm fine. All right. Aloha.
All right.
We'll see you on the next one.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. He's so funny. He's so funny. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. It's been a wonderful evening. Happy 4th of July to everybody. And thank you for everything. We will catch you guys on the next show. Check out the interview room tomorrow, and we will see you soon. And I believe, hopefully, I think sometime mid next week, Dr. Gary and I will have a call-in show where he will join as well. So I look forward to that as well. And thank you guys so much. All right.